Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto was raised by Dragon Phoenix. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by PHOENIXLORD42 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. At the forest area of Land of Fire, the woman is wearing a coat in her arms, is a crying baby as she is by the base of the mountain, as she looks around, as if she's checking that no one is following her. But seeing that is clear, so she removed the hooded part of her coat as she has long red hair and has a beautiful face. She is crying as well and whispers, "I will be back for you my son, I promise." She then kisses his forehead and puts him down under some protection and leaves something with him, which is a necklace with fang as she says, "Just stay safe, my boy." She puts the fang on his blanket, then starts to leave as it is breaking her heart to leave her son there as she crying as she hearing her son crying more as she kisses him as she leaves him in a tree that's hollowed out. All until she vanishes from sight. Just then a massive dark yet light red feathered bird lands on the ground, then transforms into a man wearing combat boots and hakama pants without a shirt showing his scars and a jacket hanging from his shoulders. He has a good build of a warrior with the muscles he has with an 8-pack. He has a handsome face with red hair with some streaks of yellow and orange with a scar over his right eye, but he is still about to see out of it. As he looks around as he is thinking why is he here until he hears the crying of a baby while the child is in the hollowed out tree. The man moves closer and feels something familiar with this child and he picks him up. The baby is under the blanket as the man moves the part that's covering the baby's face. And he sees a male boy with a mix of red and silver hair. The man says, "What are you doing here by yourself? Where is your mother?" The baby had stopped crying as he opened his eyes, which the man soon saw. The child with dragon-like eyes, and the man says, "So you are the son of a dragon," and it seems and feels like the king himself. Then he notices the necklace with a fang, which there's a kanji that he knows very well. The man nods and says, "You are coming home with me as I am going to leave a note for whoever left you here." He quickly takes it and places it where the baby was kept. Just as he is about to leave, he notices that the blanket has a name on it. The man says, "Your name is Naruto. That is powerful, you will be a great fighter in the future and you will take the throne of your father one day." Wings come out of his back and fly off. Little did the man know, the note that was meant for the baby's mother gets taken away by a squirrel. Which it says as follows while it is being taken away. To the mother of the child. "I have your child. I will raise him if he was my own and he will be ready for any threat in the future. In the future, I hope you will answer your son and my questions about why you left him. Signed, Blaze Phoenix Gage, King Emperor of the Phoenixes." The squirrel places the note in the tree that it lives in. Time skip a couple of days later. The same woman who had to leave her son as she came back to get him and hope that he's alright and safe. She finds him gone from the tree she placed him in and she starts to panic. She says, "Naruto. Naruto." She looked around as to where he could have gone. She shouts, "Where is my baby?" She doesn't know where to look. Meanwhile, where baby Naruto is giggling as Penelope Phoenix Gage, a woman with great beauty, and right now, she is doing her cutesy voice to Naruto as he is enjoying it as she says, "Oh, you are so adorable. You are going to enjoy your time here, you cutie." Naruto giggles as he reaches out to her. She then tickles his belly, making him giggle more. Then walks in on her husband and the one who found Naruto. He comes over and kisses her cheek. "I see you are happy that I brought him home." Penelope says yes, cause he's so cute. "I'm sure he will be a heartbreaker in the future." She tickles him more. Naruto giggles and Blaze says yes he will be, but I will turn him into a warrior his father will be proud of. Penelope walks away with Naruto in her arms as she says, "Come on little one, I have cute clothes for you to wear." Blaze chuckles at this as he finds this funny. Time skip nearly 2 decades later. The home of the Phoenix Gage, the battleground. 2 warriors are clashing, both are without their shirts. One has a tattoo of a phoenix with a holy and demonic claymore behind it, with a Bacento standing straight up behind the phoenix. The other warrior has a tattoo of a phoenix and a dragon on his back. Both are fighting each other, and standing at the sideline are Penelope and another woman. As Blaze catches the fist that's coming at him and says, "You're going to have to do better than that, Naruto." Blaze then judo throws Naruto away and Naruto uses his fast reflex and lands on his feet. Blaze then stomps on the ground, causing a piece of earth to come up and he thrusts his fist forward, sending the stone flying at Naruto. Naruto lets out a breath of flames as he summons lightning in his fists and punches through them. Blaze then summons his lightning. Naruto dashes toward Blaze. Blaze then slams his head against Naruto's head with a loud gong sound. Both stand there until both stop and Naruto backs away as he holds his head. Well, Blaze says, "Damn it boy, is your head made out of steel?" Blaze is standing there like nothing happens, years of experience, as he made his skull harder than a meteorite. Naruto says, "I can talk about you, dad." Blaze walks over and just pokes Naruto and he falls backward. Blaze says, "Match is over, come on, I'm sure you're hungry." Naruto doesn't say anything as his stomach growls. Blaze grabs Naruto and throws him over his shoulder. Come on, let's get you something to eat. Yeah, okay dad, said Naruto as Blaze walks over to his wife and the other woman. The other woman has light blue eyes, medium dark gray hair, and an overall average complexion. She uses to adorn her hair with a wide white ribbon tie with blue stripes on the ends. She is wearing light blue kimono with the top revealing her large of J, wide hips, thick legs. She is the same age as Naruto. What's more, she is Naruto's girlfriend. Her name is Yumi. Naruto says as he gets off of his father's shoulder and walks up to her and holds her close. Hello my love. He kisses her forehead. Yumi smiles while blushing. Yumi is human. Naruto has not marked her yet as he is waiting for a special moment to have their first time. Yumi knows this and understands. She says hello to you too. She smiles. They walk to the dining room where they sit down for lunch. As they are eating, Penelope says, Blaze, have you talked to him? About Blaze says it is almost time to take him to where his father is, and the truth is soon. He might not be my son but I don't care. I took him in out of the kindness of my heart. Penelope said no not that, I mean him going to live in a human village. Blaze says Penelope, he is a dragon and a territorial one at that. He would kill someone if they look at Yumi and others in ways he does not like at all. Penelope giggles at that as she remembers when Naruto was 8, he out of nowhere began being territorial of his toys. Blaze remembers that as well as he knows why the dragons hoard treasure and Naruto will find his father's treasure hoard along, maybe his mother's. Whoever she may be. The door opens and a woman walks in carrying 2 trays and another person behind her with 2 more trays. The first one is a woman with long silver hair as she wears clothes of a maid as it shows off her figure and large of double eye. This is Graphia. She is an ice dragon and she is Naruto's personal maid as she has served Naruto's father and when she found out that he was his kid she swore herself to him. Graphia places the tray that has Naruto's food. Naruto drools as he's very hungry as the cover is taken off and shown. Pork chops with potatoes and corn and Naruto start eating his food like a gentleman. Blaze says in dragon form he is not like that as Penelope giggles at that, for 10 long years until you do it, said Penelope. Blaze chuckles and says well in dragon form, he does not have to worry about manners. Afterward. As Naruto is alone with his mother and father as they want to talk to Naruto about something. They sit down in the sitting room, Naruto says as he's nervous so what's up? What do you guys want to talk about? Blaze says it might be time for you to go out on your own and make a name for yourself. Naruto says really are you sure? Blaze says yes Naruto, like your father before you he would want you to go out and make a name for yourself and maybe find your mother. Naruto looks to the side about that as he isn't sure of that. Blaze sighs as he looks at the man with red and silver hair. Blaze says Naruto your father had to leave the nest when it was time and it is time for you but doesn't forget you will always have a place here with us. He smiles and so does Penelope as she says and besides if you become some fierce powerful dragon that brings many to their knees. But you will always be my little dragon. She hugs Naruto making him mumble, I am not that little anymore, then Naruto gets his cheek pulled by his mother Penelope. Penelope says no matter how big you get you will be my precious little dragon. She smiles with Naruto sighs as he could never win. Blaze laughs as he says, but that's for maybe in a day or two, for now come with me. Penelope lets Naruto go and he follows Blaze as both fly off toward the sky as they head somewhere. 30 minutes later they come to a standing skeleton as it stands as impressive and awe while surrounded by many others as they lay on the ground. Naruto as his dragon form is a massive figure with muscles and large wings, spikes on his back, and the color of his scale are dark platinum with a hint of red around his face. Blaze is a multicolored phoenix with a pair of wings which he can separate at will with multiple tails, sharp talons and a beak as both lands and turn into their human forms with Naruto looking around. This looks like a battlefield, said Naruto. Blaze says it is as if that skeleton of a dragon is your father. He died here. Naruto looks at the skeleton of his father as it stands, then under it, it's a memorial stone with a plaque on it. Naruto walks up to it and reads what it says, here stands the remains of Io, the one and true Dragon King, my friend and a powerful dragon. May he rest in peace and enjoy the other side where he can fly as much as he wants. May we meet again on the other side. Naruto looks at the bones of his father, his birth father, as it seems he's a gigantic one. What was he like? Naruto asks. Stubborn but a good friend who would have you back and fight by your side through hell and back. Said Blaze. He holds up his fist in pride, but a bit after your birth, some of the dragons turned traitor and tried to take over as they were led by the greediest of all dragons who was once our friend. Smog. He led an attack on your father here as he was going somewhere and alone, but judging here Smog lost a massive number. Sigh. Naruto looks at Blaze. What's wrong dad? Naruto asks. Blaze says the bastard was trying to get to you as you are going to be the richest dragon of all, as your father had a massive hoard. I have one regret and that is I was not there for my friend when he needed me the most. I got here, but he was already dead. I flew into a rage and killed others with some fleeing in fear with injuries, and Smog was one of them, but he got away. with the evilest smirk on his damn face. Well, your father may have died, but he died while standing tall, above all, like the king of all dragons he is. Sigh, he rubs his face. Then laughs a bit. You know, your father told me that he always wanted a son, and there was a name that he wanted to give, said Blaze. Naruto says, what was it? Blaze says, well, your name is for sure from your mother, but your father, Io, wanted to name you Bahamut. Naruto is surprised. Then why is my name Naruto? And Blaze says, I think that was your mother's doing. As for who she is, I don't have a clue. I didn't know that Io was seeing anyone. Naruto is surprised. So my birth mother could be alive. Blaze shrugs. Well, given the fact that your birth mother might not be a dragon, and I don't know the full story as to why she had left you in that tree, said Blaze, so meaning I might have been abandoned. Did she even want me? Blaze sighs as he knows that Naruto somewhere in his mind thinks that his birth mother didn't love him or want him. Blaze says the only way to find out is to find her and ask her yourself. You must find the answers, but remember you're not alone as you have Yumi and Grafia, of course me and your mom. He places his hands on Naruto's shoulders. No matter what the answers are, remember that you are loved and nothing can change that. Blaze hugs Naruto. Naruto hugs back and says thank you dad. Blaze smiles. You're welcome Naruto, now let's head home. Naruto nods as they walk away. Well, Blaze says, so when are you and Yumi going to do it? Naruto blushes in embarrassment. Dad. Blaze laughs at that as both head home. Skip a couple of days later. Naruto in his dragon form while on his back is both Yumi and Grafia as Yumi says, so where are we going to go Naruto? Naruto moves his head as he says we going to a place what dad calls Leafy Town or something like that. They keep flying, then they are flying over the wave and they hear a battle. Naruto looks down and sees a group of humans are fighting on a bridge. Wonder what's that about. Both Yumi and Grafia look down as well. Grafia says Naruto-sama, can you land? This might be interesting. Naruto nods to that and dives down. Then he lets out a roar and the fighting stops as they are looking around for that roar. At the bridge, the people who were fighting stopped as their roar was almighty as they looked up and saw. Sensei, what on earth is that? Said a girl with pink. The sensei says I have no idea. As he is sweating in fear as the other people are seeing as the beat of its wings makes a very strong gust of wind. As a man with bandages covering his mouth as he says I do, and that there, Pinky, is a dragon, but I have never seen one such as this one. Everyone sees the dragon lands on the ground. The two women get off and the man sees the dragon transform, but I have heard legends that dragons can transform to blend in with humans easier, some have even mated with humans. Said the man holding onto a massive blade. His name is Zabuza. Naruto says you are correct, but I am not just the son of any dragon. Zabuza asks which ones. There are many dragons, which one is it? Naruto smirks showing his sharp teeth and says while pointing up a high-up dragon. Zabuza groans at that. Naruto says now then what are you lots doing fighting on a bridge that isn't even finished? He knows that humans are always fighting for something. The man that was called Sensei said, we are fighting on the behalf of the people of this land so they can be free from a greedy man. Naruto says well okay, and Mr. Fangs, what about you? Zabuza said unlike Kakashi here, I'm fighting so I can get paid. I don't care what happens here, long as I get my money. Naruto asks, and do you trust the man who hired you? Zabuza looks at him while Naruto says I thought so. Also Grafia, can you undo that dome of ice over there? He points at it. Grafia nods and then walks over to the dome winding up a punch, then shuts out Ice Dragon's iron fist. She punches the dome making it shatter. As the dome vanishes, revealing 3 and 2 are badly hurt, while 1 isn't, but the one who is not injured is very shocked seeing her dome destroyed. How and nothing can break my ice. Said the masked person who has the voice of a girl. Grafia says ice made by chakra can't stop the ice dragon from getting through the dome, either from inside or outside of the dome. The masked person looks at Grafia in shock. All the others couldn't stand up anymore and passed out from the battle in pain. Sasuke. Said the girl with pink as she ran up to a boy wearing a blue shirt. But she is grabbed by Grafia and she says little girl don't shout cause if you do I will make it to where you can't talk anymore. As ice forms on her free hand as the girl don't you get it? That's Sasuke-cha. The most important of all. You must she sees the ice turn into a blade and it's at her neck. No human is above a dragon like Naruto-sama, for he's a dragon of high standards, said Grafia, well the girl is shaking as if she could die right now. Grafia, let her be, what she does makes no matters, said Naruto. Grafia is about to respond and Naruto says she is no one important other than a plebeian in the world as she thinks that the world revolves around her. Grafia undoes the ice blade and lets go of the girl as she bows as you wish Naruto-sama. Naruto smiles, then smells something who around here smells like booze and whores. As he covers his nose. The man says wait, he turns to the other side and sees a group of thugs and rouges with a short man leading them. Gato said Zabuza as he sees the small man. Naruto asks who is the midget. Gato says well, I know you won't get the job done Zabuza, that's why I had some precautions like just say the bridge builder's daughter and his grandson. Naruto turns and asks why was no one watching the house. As he looks at the group then turns to Grafia. Grafia, go get them. Grafia points, Naruto turns to see a pair of thugs as they drag both a woman and her child into view. Beto says be the way who they're three. I don't remember hearing about them in your report. Sigh, this is why I hate hiring ninjas. And since I wasn't planning on paying you and that mask. He slams his cane while one of his arms is in a cast. Then something happens, the air gets colder and people start to see their breath. Naruto says Grafia stand down. Grafia says B but Naruto-sama. Naruto says no buts. Grafia, he crosses his arms, while the sensei who is named Kakashi says wait, you're not going to help. Naruto then disappears and they hear snapping and the ones holding the bridge builder's daughter and grandson fall over with their necks snapped and the two back with the group. Naruto says get out of here, this will the only thing I do, the other things doesn't involve with me, and he stops as he hears the tiny man shouting out to his men to get all the women as he says that he wants the one with kimono, Akiyumi. Naruto then snaps and his teeth turn sharp and say Grafia, change of plans. Let's slaughter those insects. His eyes turn full on dragonoid with scale forms on his body. The same thing happened to Grafia and both let out an earth-shattering roar that can be heard for miles. And what happens next that the human couldn't explain or withstand. It was two dragons going to town on the army, ripping them apart, blasting them into nothing, impaling them on ice and iron pikes, and then they reached Gato. Naruto looks at the tiny man as he is on his ass shaking in fear as he senses something that ain't human at all. What he does next, thinking that would get him to live. He says no please. Spare me. I will give you anything you want. Money. Women. Men. Lands. Name anything and it's yours. As he thinks that everyone always has a price. Naruto laughs a cruel laugh and asks, can you bring my father back from the dead? Gato could only say W what? Then how about the location of all of your money and access to your accounts? Asked Grafia with her ice claws near Gato's neck. Gato feels the cold on his neck as it moves through his veins. He gives it to them, then after that Gato's head gets clean off of the body as it falls in the waters. Then Naruto burns the body and then returns to the group and Yumi runs up to Naruto and hugs him as he asks, are you okay? Oh yes, I am, my wonderful dragon. Said Yumi. She smiles, then Naruto realizes something as he takes stuff. Huh? This scent has a hit of familiarity and it's close as the one named Sasuke and others are waking up. Kakashi is wondering something as he sees this dragon moving closer toward his two students that are getting up. Kakashi gets in the way but his shoulder is grabbed and he is pushed into a tree, making it break and fall on him. What do you think you're doing? Said Kakashi as he's in pain. Naruto walks over to the other brat and takes a big sniff and says yes, this scent I know it. As the boy says, hey buddy. I don't swing that way. He felt uneasy about this unknown guy getting close to him. Then he finds his throat being grabbed and he is brought up to Naruto's height. Tell me, you little brat, why do you have that scent of the woman who left me in the forest? The boy blinks in confusion. W what are you talking about? Naruto says you have her scent, the same one that's also on me, so do you know her or not? I don't know who you are talking about. You are crazy. Said the kid and he is kicking Naruto to get himself free. Well, Sakura, who has Sasuke in her arms, she says, well, now that I look at them, they kinda look similar, but how? Naruto then throws the brat on the ground and turns to Kakashi. He then walks over and grabs Kakashi and says, who is the brat's mother, as he has the same scent as me. Also don't test me unless you want to piss off a dragon. Flames come out of his mouth. Why you mean Menma? As in Menma Uzumaki. Son of Kushina Uzumaki. Said Kakashi. Zazuya says Haku, we're leaving, the longer we stay the more that dragon might pull something. Naruto says Kushina. Kushina. I know I have heard that name before. Now I remember she was the one who left me in the forest and I want answers why. And before Zabuza and Hake leave, their feet are frozen to the ground as they're turned to see Grafia as she says, starting today, you two will be serving Naruto-sama. They are scared and Naruto says, I need to get to this Leaf County, as he grabs Menma and drags him along. You're coming with me, brat? Zabuza asks, say, if you don't mind asking what happens if we say no. Naruto looks at him and soon enough. Naruto, then there's a thud and it is a gold brick on the ground. Solid gold, it's about as heavy as a large boulder, said Naruto. Zabuza is shocked at seeing the brick and asks so where to, boss? Naruto holds up Menma to the home of this one. Zabuza says alright, Konoha it is. Menma protests, you have no right to do this. I am the son of the 4th Hokage and he will have your head. Naruto says, oh shut the fuck up. Did you forget you're talking to a dragon who can and will kill your ass if you don't keep your mouth shut? Menma sees scales on Naruto's face to show that he is one. Menma gulps, then he is tied up and gagged as Naruto transforms into his dragon form. Kakashi tries to save him, but it was too late as Naruto had flown off with Zabuza telling Naruto where to go. Grafia left the account info with Tazuna as she had changed and took off with Yumi and Haku. It takes them 30 minutes to reach their village due to Naruto and Grafia flying. As they're getting there, Naruto looks at Zabuza and says, you explain to me something I need to know as I'm not well knowledge about human rules and laws. Zabuza says, I will do what I can. Also, didn't your guardian teach you? Yumi steps in. Naruto-kun isn't the type to remember things, and besides, he was taught most of the laws of phoenixes and a few of the humans' laws, but I guess he doesn't remember them much. Naruto whistles on that. Zabuza sighs, you need to listen to your guardian. Justice is hovering above the massive village of Konoha. This is the place. Yes, that is Konoha. You will finally have your answers whatever there are, said Zabuza as Naruto slowly hovered down while holding Menma. Menma was struggling, and then a flash appeared, and it was the fourth Hokage. A man named Minato Namikaze. As he sees this dragon landing with not only his son in its claws but people on its back. Then another dragon lands and the people get off, and the dragons transform back into Naruto, and Grafia has a hold of Menma with Minato coming up to them. Who are you? And why do you have my son in your clutches? Demands Minato, and Naruto sniffs the air and says she is close. Naruto walks by Minato and into the crowd as everyone is getting out of his way. Before Minato could call out Naruto, Yumi steps in and says, greetings, I'm Yumi, are you the chief or leader of this village? I am. And who was that with my son? Demands Minato. He points at Grafia who has Menma as she is dragging him along as she follows Naruto. That would be the maid of Naruto-kun, and right now we are looking for Naruto-kun's mother as your son has the scent of her. Then a woman appears with a blade at Naruto's neck and he says, it seems I have found you. Naruto turns to see the woman. She has long red hair and she is giving that scent that he's been following. The woman, Kushina, is confused by this. Wait, looking for me? Who are you? She has the blade closer to his name. Naruto then turns and she sees his face fully. Kushina looks at him and doesn't know why. She knows their eyes are the same as well. The father of her firstborn son whom she had been looking for him for years now. Then the image of her baby appeared. Kushina is breathing hard as she is panting as she says, and Naruto. I is your end name, and Naruto. Naruto looks at her just as Grafia arrives with Menma in hand as he says, wait, do you know this guy, mom? Indeed I do, this as your oldest brother, the heir of the Uzumaki clan. Naruto Bahamut Uzumaki, said Kushina as she was shaking as she couldn't believe that her baby boy was here after nearly 20 years and she was beginning to lose hope because she couldn't find him. But now he's here where he should be, there can be a family. With Naruto saying, so you are my mother, but tell me, why did you leave me in the forest that day? Kushina freezes on that as she says, I didn't have a choice. I thought you would be safe there. Naruto cut her off. Oh, spare me. Tell me the truth, did you want to get rid of me? After all, you didn't look for me. I searched for you for 20 years. I thought you were still in that massive forest. I was hiding you from your father's enemies. They heard he had a son and they wanted you dead. Said Kushina while having tears. Why should I believe you? Dad had left a note for you. Kushina blinks and note. There was a note. But Naruto then says, oh, so the note was missing. Yeah, I was found by the Phoenix King who was a friend of my father's. He and his wife raised me and trained me for 20 years. They were wonderful, but I wanted to find you for answers, Kushina. Before I did anything to you. Kushina felt pain as Naruto just called her Kushina, then mom, as Naruto says, so truly answer me. Did you even want me or not? Cause you could just keep me with you then leave me all alone in the forest when I was just a baby. Yes, I wanted you. I loved your father, I was not trying to abandon you. That forest is the one place dragons avoid like the plague for some reason. Kushina shouts with tears coming down, then she hugs Naruto, but Naruto doesn't let her as he doesn't believe her at the moment cause his head is filled with too much anger right now and needs to cool off, so without saying a word, he backs away and leaves. Just as Grafia, Yumi along with Zabuza Haku follow with Zabuza saying we with them as they follow Naruto. Kushina is crying as she drops to her knees. With Naruto and Co. Naruto at some way older parts of Konoha that no one would dare to live, Naruto roars in rage as his arms are dragons as he punches the walls. The walls fall and crumble, and then Naruto sits down as he punches the ground as growls fear-alike. While Yumi and others are away from him as Zabuza asks, so is he always like this? With him sweating bullets. Grafia says only when angry, that is when the beast side of him begins to show itself. Naruto gets up and places both hands on each other and uses them together to break down another building. Zabuza asks any way to stop this. And Grafia thinks and says a soothing song can do it. Yumi says her having his favorite food. Grafia snaps her fingers, be right back. She teleports away and then returns a few minutes later and says, Naruto-sama, I have steak with noodles and corn. Naruto was about to destroy the next building, which is number 19, as he stops his punch in its tracks as he turns around. A few minutes later, Naruto is eating sitting at a table as Grafia helped Blaze and Penelope teach him manners in human form. Naruto is eating as his anger is fading, all until he is done and calmed down. Naruto sighs and says thank you Grafia. Grafia bows. Haku says something since leaving the wave. So what's the plan, Mr. Dragon Boss? Naruto says, well, I know the rumor of the Uzumaki clan, and that is they owned an island, and I am wondering they had a treasure if it is true, as I would like to increase my treasure hoard. Zabuza says I don't count on it, many had gone and nothing on that Deadman's Island. Naruto says true, but it is worth a look and I am willing to reward you both if you come with me, I am good to my employees. Well, he's thinking granted that you two are my first ones. Zabuza thinks and says well there is one reason I worked for Gato and that is to fund the rebellion in the mist. Naruto says oh so you not greedy as I had thought, for that I'm sorry. Zabuza says it is okay. So I would like to ask for your help in ending the rebellion. He sweats as he forgives who he is talking about if you are alright with it, Lord Dragon sir. Naruto sighs as he says Naruto or Bahamut is fine, only she can add Sama to my name. He points at Graphia. Naruto then mutters no matter how much I try to get her to not to do that. Graphia has a smile on her face. Right be the way is that one with you too? Said Zabuza as he pointed to the sky and everyone turned to see a dragon coming toward them well covered in fire. Naruto sighs great another dragon here just what I need is a way to remove some stress. Zabuza shouts then it's not with you. Naruto says nope. He moves away from them as he guesses that this one is after him. Which the fire covering dragon is indeed after him. Naruto groans and transforms and meets the dragon head on. As both dragons crashed and fell onto a building, soon enough there are sounds of battle going on, as soon enough out of the smoke of the remained building, Naruto, as he dashing backward and coming at him, is what seemed to see a girl with pinkish hair while wearing a black coat with full dragon arms. What's more, the girl seems to be the same age as Naruto, but her figure is insane. Who is she? Asked both Zabuza and Haku. Graphia looked at them and said she's a fire dragon that's for sure, as for who she is I have heard stories. Yumi asks Graphia what stories? As she never heard of this, well, there been sighting of a battle-crazed dragon that starves under some dragon and would try fight strong dragons. Naruto's hands grab onto the girls as they are in a power struggle. Though she is a bit short, she's able to hold on her own against him. But what she doesn't know is that Naruto is holding back as he tries to figure this dragon out. Why is she doing this? I have heard of the factions of dragons, but I'm not a part of any of them Naruto, as the girl says we evenly match Dragon Boy. But just one slip up. You're going down. Shame to cause you're very cute she smiles as she shows her fangs. Naruto then says water dragon roar. The girl is hit by a massive blast of water pushing her through walls. Naruto stops as he says gotta end this fast. He sees a blast of fire coming at him and it comes in fast and hot. Naruto just takes it and is not burned at all, skin-wise, but his clothes are a different story. Lucky that his mom made special ones that could repair themselves. Thank you mom. Said Naruto in his thoughts as the girl coming at him well wet from before was covered in dirt. Naruto then looks down and sees her standing in a big puddle of water, which then he zaps making her light up like a Christmas tree with her screaming. Until Naruto stops as the girl says after getting zapped I is that the best why you can do Dragon Boy. Naruto sighs and says my name is Naruto. Not Dragon Boy. I will make sure to carve it on your tombstone. She takes one step then falls forward, she looks and sees ice where the puddle of water should be. Then she turns around and Naruto holds her down by grabbing onto her arms with a beam change at his mouth as he says do you yield? As he will fire it if she doesn't. She is shaking in fear as she realizes that Naruto has been holding back on her. Then she shouts fine I yield. Yield. Naruto then pulls out some strong chains and chains her up, then breaks the ice and carries her over to Graphia. No more than 30 minutes later, everyone is eating while Zabuza says as he holding a large rice ball you dragons sure do eat a lot with Naruto eating 2 at each, and also he turns to the girl that was fighting him also eating while in chains, why is she eating with us? Said Zabuza as he doesn't understand how dragons think. Naruto says she can't do anything with those chains on and it seems it was a fight of dominance. Zabuza blinks while the girl eats as she nods to that. I sigh, okay, so what does that mean? She's your ally now? No, more like his mate, said the girl as she took another bite of the rice ball. She is knocked out of her chair by Naruto's tail as he says oh no, you don't the only way to become a mate is to have sex in my bed and you are not going to be the first at all. Then the girl says oh right, well I know your name, Naruto, so it's only fair I tell you as my mate. Naruto groans at that, well Yumi is thinking she's either straightforward or very bold, I need to be careful or else. Naruto says fine, what's your name? The girl says I'm a Lulu. She takes off her coat to show that she is wearing a bra that's too small, her gigantic let's mate. The next thing she knows is she was sent through the roof with excess, where her eyes should be as she is screaming while flying, and it was by Yumi as she says don't you have no shame. Graphia says I lost that when I was in my teens. She blushed as she thinks she used to do. Naruto nods then moves Yumi to his lap, Yumi said Naruto. Yumi snuggles up to Naruto, you need to calm down said Naruto. Yumi pouts and looks Naruto in the eyes I am your girlfriend, so yes I am allowed to send her flying, as she tried to seduce you. Naruto laughs at that, a few minutes later as Lululu returns while feeling dizzy from that hit by Yumi. Did anyone get the number of that carriage that hit me? Just rest your head on my shoulder, Lulu, said Naruto. She falls to the floor. Naruto helps her up, much to Yumi's dismay, and has her rest on his shoulder. Yumi is staring at Naruto and says, Naruto, you know you have a girlfriend and this woman tried to seduce you. Well, that doesn't mean I have to be a jerk, said Naruto. Yumi knows that he got her there. Naruto then finds her ass against his chest and she whispers, you know our anniversary of when we got together is coming up soon. I know, said Naruto. As Abusa blinks as he says you folks are odd, Haku says I think there's something else most of the time as she ate the rice ball. Naruto says hey, I was raised by the Phoenix King, so that will tell you something. Zabuza doesn't say anything else. Sometime later, the three dragons are flying high over the seas, so what can you tell me about the Uzumakis? Asked Naruto. Zabuza says they were the toughest bastards you would ever meet. It took 3 major villages and a few smaller ones to do them in, but they went down fighting, taking so many with them. They were attacked by 1.5 million, and in the end, the attacking force was cut down to 410 soldiers left. They were masters of seals and swordsmanship, insanely strong, long life, and unique chakras. Before the attack, rumor had it they hid their fortune and their scrolls in one spot that an Uzumaki can find and reach only Naruto in his dragon form. I see. So with me being half of one, how likely do you think I'm far stronger than pureblood? Zabuza says oh yes you are, because you are an Uzumaki mixed with a dragon. The Uzumaki never believed in having things handed to them. They believe that you get what you earn through hard work and hard work alone. Naruto stops and hovers as he thinks about it. Does he have the right to take the fortune, since he didn't earn it? Zabuza says Naruto, think about this, if you go for the fortune you will be tested to see if you are the right person to earn the clan head position. You earn it, then you earn the treasure, as they would have left traps to guard it. Naruto looks at him, very well, let's go find it. Meanwhile in Konoha, Kushina is in her room in the Senji compound crying on her pillow as she's being comforted by a woman whose name is Tsunade. She says, it seems your son is not happy with you. But it is okay, give him time. As Kushina talks through the pillow, he hates me and I want to know who took him in. While crying, Tsunade sighs as she doesn't know what to do. Meanwhile, she has her clone dealing with Kushina's other son Menma, who demands answers as well. Minato. Where is he? Demands Menma and Minato. Then the door opens and in walks a Chunin, which is Menma's older sister, a girl named Naruko, as she stops them. Whoa. What's going on here? It turns out we have an older brother. Shouts Menma. Naruko blinks at that. Really, Naruko said as she was surprised by this. Minato said, wait, is that the same one that I told Kushina to get rid of? Minato is then pinned to the wall by Kushina's sword and she marches out with red eyes and says the son of the dragon. Yes. Both are shocked to hear Menma shouts, he's a what? Naruko says damn, I knew mom is hot, but I never thought a dragon would have their eye on mom. Kushina says oh, it was not any old dragon really, but try the top dragon. As she looked at her two youngest, Menma said top, if there's such a dragon that would mean his eyes widen. No way. The late king. Said Naruko. Back with Naruto and Ko. At the remains of the Yuzu village, Naruto and the other two are still in their dragon forms as they move rubble around. Naruto then finds something and transforms into his human form, and the others come over and transform and Naruto checks it and his mind is working. As he says what's this? He taps on it. Then it glows and pushes back, then moves aside and Naruto in caution steps into it and lightning shows itself. It is a hallway and then he hears a thud and turns to see that Grafia tried to enter but can't, and Naruto says it seems only an Uzumaki can enter here. Well, that of blood. Naruto goes down. Naruto is walking down the hallway, then stops as he says this is too easy. Something isn't right. He looks around. Naruto then picks up a rock and throws it and nothing happens. Something is up, said Naruto. He resumes walking, but carefully, does so until he reaches the end. Then he walks in and sees all the treasure of the Uzumaki clan, and not just gold and gems, also weapons of all kinds, books, and scrolls of forgotten knowledge, and more. But what's more, there are the remains of a dragon lying in front of the gold, which is odd. Then he enters and the bones start to move. Naruto notices sealing marks on the bones as they begin to move and put together. Then when the dragon is alright and says intruder. With its empty eye sockets glowing with chakra, Naruto says to himself using the bones of a long since dead dragon to guard the loot. Smarty can't help but be awed by this as he won't think of this at all. He wasn't thinking like an Uzumaki. But the dragon grabs him and takes him to an arena as it tosses Naruto toward it. Naruto rights himself, he then changes into his dragon form. Back with the rest, the group feels the shaking as it comes from underground. Grafia says do you think Naruto-sama is fighting a guardian? Well, Lulu pouts as she says I want to fight it too and show Naruto-kun what I can do. Yumi bonks her on the head. Horny dragon. Then feels a bit of pain. Yumi growls as she thinks thick is her head. Now I know why she is not taking no for an answer, well, Lulu pouting. Haku says I'm starting to think that this is our life. Zabuza-sama. Zabuza says I fear it is, but you have to admit the pay is damn good. Then something bursts out of the underground, they see a bone dragon. Then Naruto comes out of it too and he shouts Grafia. Lulu. Lulu gets excited. Grafia stops Lulu and says think of this as a test Naruto-sama. Naruto says as he puts down the bone dragon, I don't think it's a test, Grafia. Otherwise it would try to go back in the hole. As the bony claw tried to claw Naruto's chest. You want to earn that fortune then kick that dragon's ass. Shouts Grafia, Ululu says, but how? It's all bones. Grafia sighs and says it's a metaphor. Naruto then grabs the skull and squeezes and they all hear cracks. Just as Naruto is doing that, the bone dragon opens its jaw and a flame of chakra hits Naruto's face. Naruto then heated much lava into the dragon's mouth as he was not only crushing the skull, but also blasting it with lava. Naruto then fully crushes its head. There, it is done. Then something else happens after the bones fall to the floor. Naruto turns back and waits around and says well, there's no voice telling me that I prove my worth. So it wasn't a test. Grafia. He narrows his eyes at her. Grafia says Naruto-sama, that was a way to motivate you to do it. Remember I can't help you in every battle. Ululu says boo. Naruto then dives back into the hole while Ululu gets out of Grafia's hold and jumps in to join Naruto. Yumi does the same. But before she does Naruto puts Ululu back. No, you don't give me a few minutes okay? For what? Ululu asks. You know to seal everything up, said Naruto. Ululu says oh okay Naruto-kun. Yumi then freezes Ululu in a block of ice, but the ice melts away. Ululu blinks as she looks at Yumi and says was that to cool me off? She blinks. To cool your hormones yes. Shouts Yumi as her head gets big, scaring Ululu. I didn't know humans could do that. Said Ululu as she's surprised by this. Grafia says Yumi-sama, that won't work much on Ululu, given that she's a strong fire dragon and dragons, more so the females, hormones don't work that way. Yumi growls I want her to stop. He will mate with her when he is ready. Not before and he does not know her. As Ululu says well, I'm trying to, but all you do is stop me, icy lady. Yumi's eye twitches and goes somewhere to be herself, and then ice appears as Yumi is using her ice attacks to relieve frustrations. After a few minutes she returns, okay, I realize what I'm doing, and for that I'm sorry, said Yumi as she in front of Ululu. Ululu says it's okay, it just means you are protective of him, so I know you don't mean no harm. She smiles. Yumi says I just need to get used to sharing him. I am so used to having him all to myself. Ululu says well if you want, I can wait and try not to mate with him, but it's kinda hard since he's handsome. Yumi says please as really it is close to our anniversary and I am planning something special. Ululu thumbs up and says I will try. Yumi sighs and says I can't fault you for that though. Now then. She goes over to the hole. Are you done Naruto-kun? Naruto climbs out, then repairs the hole and holds up a massive scroll. Yup each is in smaller scrolls in this. Zabuza and Haku are looking through the rubble as he says, do you think we would find a weapon or two? Naruto says they were with the treasure, but I think we might be able to find one or two that could use repairs. Zabuza says maybe so, if we are lucky after all. I never heard anyone owning uzumaki weapons. Naruto finds a blade from Kumo and another from Iwa, and a third from the mist. Grafia says, never underestimate Naruto-sama's luck. Zabuza says how so? As he lifted a piece of a building, and lo and behold, he found something. And it's Uzumaki's crafted staff. Grafia says case in point. Zabuza has a blank face on him, he picks it up and checks it out and then slams one end against a piece of rubble and the piece breaks. Zabuza is surprised as he thinks that Uzumaki's craftsmanship is something else. Naruto then feels something calling to him, what's that? Said Naruto as he looked around. Ululu looked at him and listened. The same goes for Grafia as Ululu says I don't hear anything. Are you okay Naruto-kun? Naruto then heads toward the manor or what is left of it as the others seeing this with Yumi says Naruto-kun. Where are you going? They follow him as Naruto walks over to the destroyed manor. Naruto then moves some rubble and looks around, then after 10 minutes, he finds a small box that is likely to contain the stored rings. Naruto holds it up and opens it. He finds the Uzumaki clan head ring. It was calling to him. Naruto looks at it with Zabuza. Oh I heard stories, only the clan leaders of the Uzumaki of the past wear there as proof of their leadership. Said. Naruto puts it on then removes it and lets it fall to the floor. I don't need some ring to prove my leadership. Leadership is with oneself, not some trinket. It then appears on his finger and Zabuza says, you're the clan head now. Naruto looks at it and groans. Zabuza says the ring is more important than you think. It has been said that in the hands of the clan head, it will unite all Uzumaki, no matter where they are. Some will fight it, but they have no choice but to come when called. Naruto looks at Zabuza and says that's foolish. Dad told me it's the person that others will follow, not some ring, that's why this ring doesn't justify anything. Zabuza shrugs and asks are we going to Konoha or something? Naruto takes it off and puts it away. Why not, I'm cool and level-headed, said Naruto. Zabuza asks can we head there also? Could you drop me off so I can head to the mist to help? Naruto thinks on it, sure why not, and just know I will call upon you again. Here the other payment. He hands Zabuza another block of gold. Zabuza nods and says thanks. He was sweating as it was heavier than the last one. Naruto and the other dragons transform and give them a lift. On the way, they drop off Zabuza and Haku near the mist village and go on their way toward Konoha. As they fly, Ilulu says to Naruto, "Say Naru-kun, I think someone is following us." Naruto looks around. Where are they, Ilulu? Then Naruto takes an attack from below as it is an earth dragon and it drags Naruto down. Naru-kun. Naruto-kun sama. Naruto growls as they hit the ground. They fight each other until Naruto pushes the earth dragon away. Naruto growls as the earth dragon says, "I'm here for your head, so I can take it to Smog." Since that foolish girl failed to do so. Naruto then tackles the dragon and then takes a chomp of his neck. A bit later, Naruto is looking at the dead body earth dragon and wonders what he should do with it. Naruto then takes the scales as he wonders if they're worth anything. But he's stopped by Ilulu and Yumi tackles him into a hug. Naruto grunts. Yumi says, "Are you okay? Are you hurt?" Naruto says, "I understand you doing that, but why did you, Ilulu?" Ilulu says, "'Cause you're my mate." "No wait, our mate, is that better?" She looks at Yumi. Yumi does not answer as she is looking for any injuries, which there's none as they have healed. Naruto's head is hugged by Yumi, more so his head in between her s. Grafia giggles, while Ilulu has her s on Naruto's chest. Naruto then starts to tap them as he says, "Mind getting off please." They both do. Couple hours later, they walk into Konoha while Naruto is dragging a massive bag of dragon scales. Naruto is whistling, while the gate guards are watching this as they ain't doing anything about it. They don't want to fight him, cause well, whatever the guy killed, they don't want to mess with him. Naruto says, "You know we will need a home." Yumi says, "Well, we could use that empty part of our home, since there's no one there after all." Naruto says, "I will need it big to put my treasure in, as I am not trusting the banks." Ilulu, "What's a bank?" As they head over the older part of Konoha. "A bank is a place where humans store their money," said Naruto. "Oh, so it's like a hoard?" asked Ilulu, and Naruto says, "Sort of, but they store the money so it can make more, but if I made one, I won't be allowed to lay around it." Grafia says, "Your treasure is your hoard, you will have a room for it which will get bigger when you get more, but don't get a bank though." Ilulu says, "Well come on, let's go build a home." "There you are, you bastard," shouted a familiar voice. They all turn to see Menma, Aka, Naruto's full human little brother. "Oh, it's a brat." "Hello brat," Menma growls, then sees the uzumaki ring on Naruto's finger. He marches up toward him and says, "That doesn't belong to you." Naruto says, "This?" "Sure, take it." He takes it off and tosses it to Menma as he says, "I see that you're not dumb since I'm the true." As he is about to catch it, the ring vanishes. "What the hell? Give it to me now." Naruto then shows his hand showing it appeared back on his finger. "I wish I could, but I can't." Menma gets angry by this as he says, "You just come into my life and what was supposed to be mine by birthright is being taken by you." Naruto rolls his eyes as he says, "You don't know the rules of headship, do you? I am the oldest Uzumaki son by our mother, so the title of heir of the clan falls to me. Of course, you could challenge me, but I guarantee you will lose." Menma growls as Naruto is right due to his half-older brother being a dragon. "Besides, you still have your father's clan, don't you?" "That belongs to Naruko, she is the heiress," said Menma through gritted teeth. Naruto said, "Oh, we have a sister. Wonderful, maybe she's more level-headed than your little brother, but what's it going to be?" His eyes glow in power. Menma is sweating as he sees this. "Are you going to fight me? Or back down like the sad little boy you are cause you're not getting what you want?" Menma growls as people are seeing this and to see what Menma's answer is. This goes on for a bit until they hear, "What's going on here?" said the voice of Minato. Naruto says, "Stay out of this as this is between two Uzumakis and you are not one of them." Naruto then turns back and asks, "So are you going to fight or run with your tail between your legs?" As his eyes are still glowing while smiles to show his fangs. Menma growls, "I challenge you for the right to be clan head." Minato tries to intervene, but the other clan heads grab him and pull him back. "You can't intervene, Lord Hokage," said Inoichi, head of his clan, Yamanaka. "Why circa?" "Ladies and gentlemen," said a voice that's coming from above as everyone looks up and sees, well, an odd-looking dragon as he lands between the two brothers. Naruto says, "Well, we have a referee. The rules of this fight." The dragon says, "Let's take this to the arena first, but first, leave anything that I don't deem to be sure in the fight to someone you trust. Like you, my young lord, you don't need that bag, do you?" Naruto says, "Grafia, take this bag to a big house and make sure it is safe." Grafia bows and does as ordered. "And what about you, human?" said the referee. Menma growls, "I have what I need for battle." With a look of determination that he would beat him. Naruto then removes the ring and hands it to the dragon, who puts it into a bubble. Then the dragon leads them toward where they're going to fight, which is a specially made cage that's for fighting. Both enter it, then the dragon gets on the top of it and shouts. The rules are simple. Fight until one is either beaten or submitted. Outside help is not allowed and no one is allowed to enter the cage. Killing is optional, but I recommend don't because we have children in the area. Now begin," said the dragon referee. Menma charges in like an idiot and Naruto dodges his punch and elbows the back of his head, making him stumble forward as Menma is holding the back as it hurts as Naruto says, I thought being raised by our mother would make you a better ninja or at last a fighter, but you swing yours like a child." Menma throws a knife which Naruto turns his skin to scales making the knife break on contact. Naruto sighs as he then takes off his jacket, which, having no shirt, therefore, showing off his more muscle form which many women are blushing at the sight. Naruto says come on, little brother, I'm sure you can do better than throwing needles. Menma growls and attacks, he punches Naruto's face, and it does not even move Naruto's head. Naruto has a look of disappointment at it. He grabs Menma's arm. He then pulls Menma in and slams his forehead against Menma's head, making him recoil, then Naruto starts slamming him against the ground. This truly turned into a one-sided fight. While outside the cage, Minato is trying to reason with the referee to let him in, can't you see he's murdering my son? He doesn't stand against something Lee. Sorry, rules are rules, this is between the young lord and his half-brother. I can't interfere at all as I am not allowed at all. You can bribe me, try to convince me. But I can't. I am honor bound to prevent anyone from stopping this. The clan heads understand as this is between two clan members. These are sacred battles. Dragon referee and Minato turn to the side of Naruto and stop slamming Menma to the ground as he holds onto Menma's head, ready to give up. Said Naruto. Menma spits at Naruto's face and Naruto growls then says fine have it your way brat Naruto then throws him against the cage, making it rattle and Menma screams and Naruto appears and starts pushing his head against the cage. Then Naruto pulls Menma back, then tosses him up in the air, as Menma falls, he soon meets Naruto's fist then. Moments later, Kushina is running toward the streets as she had heard that Naruto had returned and was fighting against Menma. Then they all hear a sickening snap and a blood-curdling scream as Naruto just broke Menma's leg and then he passed out and Naruto says referee he is done. Well, if that's the case, then the winner is young Lord Naruto. As he remains as the heir of the Uzumaki clan. And remember ladies, you can look but not touch or else you will be iced or burned by them, he points at both Yumi and Alulu. I'm the referee dragon and see you all next time. Bye. The dragon and cage disappear as the ring floats down to Naruto who puts it back on his finger as he might hate it, but it is tradition for the ring to be worn out in meetings and during being outside of the compound. Naruto then turns away and someone is in his way and asks may I help you? Asked Naruto with a brow raised. My name is Tsumin Yazuka and you are now my future son-in-law. With a smile on her face. Naruto says let me guess the brat had a marriage contract with your daughter. Tsum nods and Naruto asks how. Tsum explains well they thought Naruto who is as old as my daughter was going to be a boy, so when Naruto came out to be a girl the contract went into limbo, then Menma was born 3 years later and if I am right he has another contract with the daughter of the Kazekage, but with you came into the picture. I guess so, but whatever the guess, take it up to her, said Naruto as he pointed at Kushina who arrived at the scene. I'm heading out, said Naruto as he walks off with Alulu and Yumi comes up to him as Minato is checking on Menma. Menma are you okay, son? He is out cold but in a shit ton of pain. Damn that dragon. Said Minato. Then a voice says really your son challenged a stronger person who he has no idea what he can do. Minato turns to see a woman who is scowling at Minato. The woman has long black hair with black eyes as she wears housewife-like clothes but has an impressive figure. This is Mikoto Uchiha. You filled your son's head with stupid thoughts and he thinks he is invincible and yet he challenged someone with the aura of a warrior and possibly trained by one. He and yourself have no one to blame but yourselves. Said Mikoto. Minato gets up to her and says that wasn't a warrior. That was a dragon. A half-dragon. Or have you forgotten you forced his mother to leave him in that damn forest? Said Mikoto as she knew of what Kushina had told her on that day. Minato growls and Mikoto says it is all coming back to bite you in the ass. Hell, I would like to meet the people who raised him. Meanwhile at the home of the Phoenix-Gage clan head and Phoenix King, Blaze is doing some light training until he stops as he sneezes. Penelope is training as well as she says are you okay? Don't tell me that you are getting a cold. I think someone is talking about me, said Blaze. Aka Konoha with Naruto. Naruto is thinking as he and the others are going to build their home. Naruto then remembers he has magic and starts doing some magic to clear the rubble. Like that nothing can be under anything. Naruto then says we need something to show how the mansion or compound will look. Grafia then remembers something, didn't Blaze give you blueprints for a big compound when you were younger Naruto-sama? Naruto blinks on that. Naruto then makes a blueprint appear and he opens it and shows a compound that could be made. It could make some improvement, said Naruto. Naruto then asks who would we get to build it? With Alulu raising her hand says can there be a hot spring? Blaze has that on here, said Naruto as he points at it and Alulu says yes. Days later, Naruto looks at the newly built massive house. With a massive wall around it with protection so people can't trespass on the ground and he says perfect. As Alulu runs in first as she shouts dibs on the hot springs. Yumi tries to stop her oh no you don't we need to furnish the house first as she after Alulu. Naruto smiles. The others walk into the house and then something slams into the barrier and Naruto turns to see a ninja with a blank mask. Never seen you before, said Naruto as he walks up to the masked person. He tries to escape, but Naruto is quicker and grabs him and pins him on the ground. Now, it's very rude to leave when something is talking to you, said Naruto. The man turns to see Naruto's eyes glowing. Now why don't we head inside and get to know each other better, millimeters. Naruto drags him into the house as he is going to get to his guest by answering questions. A bit later at the hot springs, all three women are enjoying the hot springs as they know what Naruto is doing, as Yumi says this is nice, I don't know why I was against this. You wanted to get the home furnished, said Grafia as she is enjoying it as well. Oh right, let's worry about that later, let's just relax, said Yumi, while Lulu says I wish Naruto would join us. Naruto-sama has an unwelcome guest to attend to, said Grafia. I guess that's fair, said Lulu as she lowered herself more into the water as she enjoyed the warmth of it. 3 days later, another one of them finds a box with a mask and they pick it up and takes it to their master. As he does, the man sees the remains of yet another spy that he had seen to keep an eye on the dragon, as the man is not fazed by this. Millimeters, another failure, said the man. The man is not happy as he can't seem to be able to get anything on the beast as he wants him as a weapon so he can take over the village. After all, what's more powerful than a dragon with the blood of the nearly gone Uzumaki clan? One way or another he will have that dragon under his thumb. But what he does not know is Naruto can't be mind controlled, no dragon can. Chapter 2. It's been 3 days and right now, in the basement of Naruto's home. The man, who is beaten with welts on his face, missing a few teeth and his hands are tied to the ceiling. Naruto asks, are you going to talk now? As the man groans as he says, but given his face swollen and never. Naruto then says, Grafia, you're up. A door slide opens and behind it is Grafia. Grafia walks in with a machine called the rack and straps the idiot to it and starts to stretch him with it by turning the crack as the guy no wait what are you doing? Naruto leaves the room as soon he makes one step, he hears no please I beg you stop this torture. Then screams as Naruto walks off as he sweats. On the above floor, Naruto walks in and sees well. Things have gone to chaos because Yumi and Lulu are glaring at each other as they fight over what goes on. Naruto says enough. Both stop as their turn to see Naruto and Naruto. Naruto walks over, girls, we have to share this mansion and I will not have you fighting each other. Wait, what are you two fighting? Yumi says I wanted to place this amazing furniture. She shows Naruto a placement full of things, but Lulu here wants to place that instant. She points at Lulu's small table for snacks. Naruto says Lulu can have that table in her room. Or have it as a side table. Then he looks at Yumi's, but for that it's too big. Yumi sighs, damn it. And then Naruto snaps his fingers and furniture appears. There, that's much better. Yumi and the others agree, and then Naruto walks over to a part of the mansion with heavy protection. Aka, the money vault. Naruto opens his vault. Naruto smirks and then goes in and closes it and then dives into the treasure and transforms into his dragon form as he thinks this is more comfortable than any bed. Naruto is enjoying being surrounded by the gold from his Uzumaki family and he made this vault so it can get bigger and if he ever has to move he can make it appear in his new home, but for now, what to do? Then Naruto falls asleep. With Grafia, the man keeps screaming as Grafia asks, will you talk now? The man says, why yes, I will talk. But you need to. He doesn't say anything else, he opens his mouth and shows a seal mark on the side of his tongue. Grafia grabs his tongue and overlords the seal with her power, making it disappear. Now talk, said Grafia, and the man starts singing like a canary as he tells her everything. Grafia is writing this all down and will be taking this to the Hokage and telling him to keep a tighter leash on his idiots. The next day, at the Senji compound, Kushina sighs as she isn't sure what to do. Naruto is here in Konoha and she can't find him. Tsunade sees this and says, alright, what's wrong now? I can't find Naruto, said Kushina as she buried her face on her knees. Tsunade sighs and says, I will look for him. She says he's a dragon and I can't find him anywhere. What means you think you can? As she talked through her knees. Tsunade says, I know all of Konoha, and where would you go if you did not have a home in Konoha? She smiles and Kushina looks at her and says, you have a point there. Tsunade heads out to find Naruto and she sees Grafia dragging with her rude Anbu. Tsunade come up to her, hey, are you that maid with Nar? I am sorry, but I am a little busy at the moment and I don't have time to talk, said Grafia, who heads to the Hokage tower. Tsunade just blinks as she thinks what's she heading there for. When Grafia gets to the tower she drags the idiot up the stairs and when she gets to the top the secretary tries to stop her, but she kicks the doors to the Hokage's office down, shocking everyone and scaring the Genin team in the office with their teacher getting into a fighting stance. Who are you? Demands the woman with red eyes and black hair. Grafia just straight up walks past her and come up to Minato, the Hokage, as she says, you need to get your act together. She drops the rude Anbu on the desk and slams everything he told her onto the desk and says, keep that warhawk in line. Or else. Minato did not take the threat kindly. Or what? clean my window. You're just a ma. I will turn this village into a frozen wasteland starting with you, your advisors, and this tower," said Graphia with a frozen tone of voice sending shivers down everyone's spines as the whole room felt way colder, so much they could see their breath. "Do we have an understanding, Minato?" asked the very cold Graphia. "Why yes ma'am," said Minato as he realizes that he's messing with a dragon. Upon that, Graphia nods then walk out of the room, then snaps her fingers and the ice vanishes, making the room warmer as the three students pass out as they have never felt pressure like that before. The woman with red eyes says who or what was that Lord Hokage? Minato says our new unofficial residence to the woman who is named Kurenai. As she says unofficial. "Do you mean they're living here?" "Undocumenting. And you're not doing anything about it?" "They are dragons." "What do you want me to do?" asked Minato. Kurenai shut herself up on that. "Besides one of them is Sai, the head of the Uzumaki clan, and there's nothing I can do about it," he rubs his head. Kurenai is surprised at that and asks what about summons. Already tried to ask the toads, but there is no match against the might of a dragon, let alone a dragon prince. Kurenai's eyes widen in shock, while Minato sighs. Meanwhile at the house of Naruto. Naruto is out of his vault as he is getting something to eat, but he hears a knock on the door. Naruto opens the door. And he sees a boy with black hair with a blue shirt and white shorts. Naruto blinks as he says who are you? "You're better," said the boy, then the door is slammed in his face and Naruto walks away. The boy is growling and starts attacking the door with fire jutsu and after firing it, the boy sees that the door is alright and standing. The boy's eye is twitching and he attacks with everything he's got and yet nothing is working. Meanwhile inside, Ilulu is watching this from the window on the second floor with Yumi walking by and sees her. "Ilulu. What are you looking at?" "Some boy having a breakdown." Yumi comes over and looks and sees the Uchiha shit attacking the house, only to see that there's no damage to the house. "So why is he doing this?" Yumi with Ilulu says no idea, but it's fun to watch a human going nuts for no real reason with a smirk. Yumi says I think that is the Uchiha. Ilulu turns her head to her with a confused look on her. "Uchiha? What's that?" Yumi thinks on it. "Well, last I heard before I lived with Naruto and his family. They're a clan with gifted members, that's all I could say." Naruto then comes out of the kitchen, then they all hear someone being frozen and it means Graphia is home. So he opens the door and sees the boy frozen solid. Naruto then pushes him away from the house and Graphia enters the house. "So where did you go?" Naruto asks. "Giving the Hokage the masked idiot who invaded our home," said Graphia. Then she says oh and they are called Rude Anbu. There are an unofficial disbanded splinter group of the Anbus and their answer to some old Warhawk. Naruto is eating a cookie while in his mind he sees a man with a hawk mask or a hawk man and around it are the people wearing masks. Naruto says okay and what did you say to the Hokage? "Get his act together or else," Graphia answers and Naruto says that's why you're the best of what you do Graphia. Graphia nods and Naruto lets her into the house. As Naruto closes the door, it doesn't take long before Naruto walks away, there is a knock on the door. Naruto says we are getting a lot of visitors today. He opens the door. He sees Tsunade in front of him and Naruto asks can I help you? Well he was thinking damn she's hot. "Yes you can, Kushina wants to see you." Naruto deadpans as he says why should I? Tsunade says she wants to talk to you to tell you why she left you in that forest hell. I heard the reason and I was ready to knock them out. Naruto looks away as he says don't care and there is nothing you can do to make me talk to her. "But I will talk to her when I am ready," he said, Tsunade realizing what he meant. "Oh. You very well, I will let her know when you are ready." Emotionally. "Though you can send over my little sister I would like to meet her," said Naruto. "Funny, I was about to say she turns you can come out of hiding Naruto." She comes out of hiding pouting and Naruto says I thought I smelt someone else with you. Naruto comes up to him and Tsunade. Upon meeting face to face, Naruto holds up her hand. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, it's nice to meet you big brother." Naruto grabs her and hugs her. "You aren't getting out of a hug." Naruto blinks then smiles as she hugs her brother. Naruto then breaks the hug and lets her in. Tsunade says don't bother, I wasn't planning to go in anyway, so I'm heading home and let Kushina know. "Alright." Naruto nods and he closes the door as Tsunade leaves. Within a few minutes, both of them get to know each other. Graphia comes over bringing drinks and places them as Naruto says wait you have a fox in you? Since you were born? Naruto nods yeah, but it was kept secret and right now she is yelling at me to be polite to you. She takes a drink and drinks some. "Of course she is, my father kicked her ass from the stories my dad told me," said Naruto as Naruto stops and says so your family, the ones that raise you. What do they like? Dad was a badass as when he enters the battlefield you run for your lives and pray he never finds you. He has taken down empires alone. But he is a wonderful and supportive father who wants the best for his kids. Mom oh she was a sweetheart, a kind and caring mother who supports your choices and they will both try to guide you to the right path. But you never pissed her off as she is like dad in destruction. You threaten her children you will be faced with an unstoppable force. said Naruto with Naruko says wow. And how did you find out that you know them like that? They raised me. Hell, they adopted me and they are phoenixes. The king and queen are emperor and empress. Said Naruto as he takes a sip of his wine, plus given that I was bigger than most of my classmates kinda was a giveaway. Naruko blinks really. And Naruto nods yeah, but the one person I could never get bigger than is my dad. He can change his size at will. It is annoying. He sips more of his wine. Naruko giggles a little bit. I guess that makes sense, for me I'm not sure since well I have a different father than you do. Naruto says he seems like he is a wimp. Naruko giggles a little not really, since he's the Hokage leader of the village. Plus the shadow he cast. Yeti is scared to fight me and my kin. Grafia was able to threaten him and get away with it, said Naruto. Naruko says there's not many would stand up against a dragon, not even my old man. Yeti tried to stop the fight his idiot son challenged me to, and that fool tried to stop it. Said Naruto. Naruko says sorry about that, Menma is what's the right word. Given that he's a brat and secretly power hungry. Naruto says I know but he lost the right to be the Uzumaki clan head and you are going to be in charge of the Namikaze family. Naruto says oh big time, but when the time comes, I would like our clans to become siblings clans. Naruto says yeah, but if Menma the brat tries anything I will kill him, also I have to ask why can't this ring won't leave my finger. Naruto takes it off, only to reappear on his finger. Naruto says you are the Uzumaki head, the ring shows it, but there is more to the ring than you think. Naruto says if it's very tasty, I'm eating it. Naruto flicks his forehead no you baka. You don't eat the ring a dragon tried that once he felt sick until he coughed up the ring and the ring was undamaged. The ring is meant to give you the knowledge of the Uzumaki clan of the past. But given that you don't seem to know anything are you blocking it? Somehow. Naruto says it might be a conflict between Kushina and me. Naruto says oh I guess that would mean you unknowingly don't want to be in touch with your Uzumaki blood, then. But it seems the ring still accepts you as the clan head. Naruto says well she did leave me in the forest where dad found me. Also, I have something to show you. Naruto wonders what it could be. Meanwhile at the home of the Phoenix Gage, Blaze is smoking a cigar as a guard come up to Blaze, my lord, the group you request have arrived. Blaze says good, send them in. The guard bows and heads out to let them know. Blaze takes another of smoke as he hears footsteps as he says so I heard you lot are the best when it comes for protection. He hears we are, but who are we protecting? Blaze says Naruto Bahamut Uzumaki son of Io and Kushina Uzumaki. The prince of dragons and heir of the Uzumaki clan that I have heard of. Then anything else boss man? Said the voice there is one more thing, said a voice that Blaze knows he turns to see his wife walking in. What is it Penelope? Asked Blaze as he let out some smoke. Penelope looks at the groups and says I want you to make sure that. Back with Naruto. Naruto has sworn Naruto to secrecy through a blood oath and so, Naruto takes his sister toward his vault. Naruto then opens the vault and Naruko's eyes widen in shock as she sees just how big it is as she says how the fuck you got this in here yet still have so much room. Naruto says well we are deep under the house Suo. Naruto then jumps into the gold and Naruko looks around for him, then she sees a dragon rise, then realizes so this what you truly look like. Naruto says in my dragon form yes. This is what I look like. How do you like looking at the fortune of the Uzumaki side of the family? Naruko looks at the gold, millimeters I thought there would be more scrolls personal. They are in the library, this is the Uzumaki treasure. Now if you wish to read the scrolls and books I will allow it, but you can't tell Menma at all I get annoyed easily. Said Naruto. Naruko says as if I would tell him, the kid gets on my nerves. Naruto gets out of the treasure and transforms and is back in human form. You know I will say this the treasure is comfortable more than a bed in my dragon form. Naruko looks at him, it makes sense, cause look at your dragon scales, they look so tough and rough, no amount of softness could make you feel comfortable. Plus there's one thing dragons love very much, and that is treasure and their hoard. Said Naruto. Naruko asks I see, by the way I read that if a dragon of a royal bloodline makes home a place, other dragons begin to show themselves so there could by their kind is it true? Naruto says it is true, at least I think so, plus given the abandoned part of the village. Will become dragon turf Naruko's get starry-eyed oh. How about the dragon district? Naruto says it could happen, given that no dragons had shown up at my folks' home, then they hear Lulu's voice Naru-kun. There's someone here to see you. Naruto sighs and shouts who is it? Lulu don't know. Some old dragon guy. Both look at each other. Later at the front of the house, Naruto and Naruko arrive as they see an elderly man wearing a coat as he is talking with Lulu as she asks why he's here. Upon Naruto walking up to them. The elderly man sees Naruto, he then bows to him and says my liege. Naruto says raise and who are you? The elderly man says I'm Damocles, once a leader of the Chaos faction before the king, Lord Io, came along, but I'm just an old dragon now. Looking for a place to rest my wings. Naruto says look around you this is an abandoned part of Konoha and right for the taking. And tell me, are you alone? Damocles shakes his head. No. My liege. There's more coming. Naruto nods okay, so pick a house or a spot and fix it up. Damocles bows and goes to do so. Naruto says well looks like it's happening now, Mr. Dragon Prince with a smirk. Naruto turns to look at Naruto and says call me that again and I will shave your head. Naruto says okay sorry. For having tough skin, you sure are sensitive. Naruto says I want to earn the right to be called the prince. Dad earned the right to be the Phoenix King. Naruto looks to the right. Yes, in Phoenix terms, dragons are different just as more and more dragons begin to show up. Naruto sighs, I guess so, anyway. Are you staying for dinner? Naruto says if you wish. But what are you guys having? Naruto thinks about it. Well, later at dinner, Graphia place a massive dish of crabs which size them are abnormal size, with Naruto says we're having crabs. Naruto says as she points that's not a crab. They were meant to be small. Not bigger than one's head. Naruto says you find them deep in the sea and you got to know where to find them. He grabs one and cracks it open, while Lulu has her face buried in crab meat, while Yumi says Lulu stop that. We have a guest. Naruto hears Lulu whine, but they're so good Yumi. Said Lulu while Yumi yes I know, but that doesn't mean you have to act like an animal. Lulu points at Naruto, but Naruto is doing the same thing. Naruto also has his face buried. Yumi says I know, Graphia. Then they hear a bang as Graphia hits Naruto on the head with a frying pan. Thank you. Said Yumi. Naruto giggles as Naruto says can't eat the way I want as he mutters. Graphia says your mother, father, and I taught you better Naruto-sama. Naruto sighs as he grabs a fork and takes out pieces of meat and the same goes for Lulu. Naruto then takes out some meat and takes a bite. A couple of days later, at the Hokage office, Minato says so you're asking me to give you the rights to the abandoned section of Konoha. For what? As he looks at Naruto along with Graphia and Lulu. Naruto says I can sum it up in one word. Dragons. Minato looks well confused. Yes I get it you are dragons, but what does that have to do with what we tell? Not us you dummy. There are going to be dragons moving into the abandoned section of Konoha since I live there. They follow their liege. Naruto says with Graphia and Lulu nodding to that. Oh, I see. So that's why you are here, pray tell, why should I care? Said Minato. Naruto's eye twitches then he grabs the desk and forces it out of his way and grabs Minato's neck. Listen here you son of a you will give us the rights or else Konoha will be a destroyed frozen wasteland to never be settled in ever again. Threatened Naruto as he has reached his limit for the day. Minato is choking as he says okay. Why you can have it. Sorry. Let me go. Naruto drops him on his ass and takes the documents and the three walk out of the room, but Lulu stops as she has a smirk of mischief as she spits out a small fire and sets the plant on fire, then she catches up. Minato is shaking in fear as he thinks maybe I shouldn't test the limits of the dragons at all, then a clan head comes into the room and sees what has happened. The hell happened here, Lord Hokage? Said a man with wide eyes as he is Hiashi Hyuga. Dragons happened, Hiashi. Said Minato as he got up, do you mean the one that's hanging there? He points at the side of the window as there's a small dragon it is laying down sleeping. Minato is surprised to see that dragon there not that one. Naruto the dragon spawn. Hiss Minato. Hiashi said, oh, I see. Later on the street. Naruto along with Graphia and Lulu walking, did you sense the dragon nearby when we were in the tower? Asked Naruto. I was looking at him as he was sleeping there, said Graphia. Naruto says I see, now then, Lulu turns to look at Naruto. Could you go over the roof as there's eyes on us? Lulu does as told as she jumps and soon enough there's thrashing, things breaking and out of nowhere a cat Yo. Naruto is checking his nails, then Lulu returns as she says I'm back Naruto-kun. Do I get a reward? As she dragged a group of people. Depends on who they are, said Naruto as he looks at them. The first one has dark blue hair with yellow eyes, wearing red clothes with bandages as well arm and leg guards along with a sword, what's more, she's very top and bottom heavy due to her having large. This is Shifusa Manu. Aka the leader. The next is a woman wearing white and black clothing as she has long light blue hair, dark blue eyes, pale skin as she has a curvy figure with double eye. This is Esdeath Partis. This is Haruko Amaya, Aka the newbie. The fourth member, a woman with light purple hair and a woman with purple eyes, is wearing a purple suit which seems to be made for combat and casual wear. What's more, she has a buxom body with large of J cups. And what's more she has a single black horn on her forehead. And next to her is a massive blade. This woman's name is Xion. An. That time I got reincarnated as a slime Xion. Finally, the final member is a very tall woman with long white hair that is bound between orange rods into a ponytail at the back, which fades into aqua green and then blues the further down it goes, along with large, orange eyes with prominent eyelashes, wears gold hoop earrings on both ears, and has horns on the top of her head which are mostly red but gradually become more flesh-colored toward the base. She is wearing a sleeveless white garment with a diamond-shaped design on both sides and an indigo, the wisp pattern bottom half. She wears a pair of red hakama pants and sandals. In all, she is very beautiful and has an insane figure, large K-cup. This is Yamato, One Piece. Naruto blinks as he says so who are you for? Lulu is sniffing toward Yamato as she says huh, you smell like a dragon, yet I never met you before. Yamato says I am a dragon. Naruto says well, you did a really good job Lulu. Come here Lulu comes up to him while Naruto pulls her in and kisses her. And Lulu gets hearts in her eyes while Graphia says oh my. Naruto breaks the kiss and Lulu falls to the ground with a bright red face and she is squealing with hearts in place of her eyes as she says finally. Naruto says still not my mate yet as Yumi is my first mate. Graphia giggles well you kissed her. I say that kinda counts. Naruto bops her on the head with a rolled up newspaper not in my book. As Yufusa says hi are you Naruto? Naruto says depends on who is asking. As he turns to her, yes, I'm Chifusa Manu, leader of this group and we have been hired Naruto size is it to kill me? As he is getting ready to destroy them. All of them fret when Naruto summons a ball of fire in his hand. No, no no. We are here to protect you. Shouts Yamato and Naruto asks who hired you? All of them turn to the side as they're sweating since they were paid not to say. Naruto says I will figure it out. As he has a deadpan face. So you were protecting me? From what? Diffusa says some of your enemies then Haruko says spies or assassins. Then Shion and feral dragons. Naruto nods and says okay I can see that as he thinks whoever hired had more than protective in mind Naruto then has two people appear in his mind. Meanwhile at the Phoenix Gages, Blaze is smoking his cigar while on his throne. Penelope is working on something and says do you think Naruto will get along with the group we hired? Possibly but what do you think he will do when he finds out we hired them? Ask Blaze. Penelope what's he going to do? She holds up her fist. Hum and yell at us for not letting him fight his fights possibly, said Blaze. Penelope says well forgive me, but you and I know we can't help but worry about him. Blaze nods in agreement, Penelope says, but I do have to say, they are very strong and they will protect my little dragon. Blaze lets out smoke as he says, or that there will end up being the new members of his harem. Penelope then asks when is he going to have sex Yumi? Blaze snorts. Akakanoha's house. Naruto's house. Naruto is in a chair with Yumi in his lap as she has her fingers walking on his chest as she says, so Naruto are you planning something special with me? Naruto says oh maybe our long-awaited special moment Yumi looks at Naruto with love in her eyes as they lead in for a kiss. But then there's a massive shake and a loud boom. Naruto's eyes turn dangerously red as he had a plan for his girlfriend and he is going to murder the one who ruined it, then he hears Naruto-sama. There's a feral dragon here. But Naruto turns to Graphia spit it out. Orders Naruto, he was a friend of mine in the past and it's been since then and he's a thunder dragon Naruto picks up Yumi and puts her where he was sitting and marches out of the mansion. Once outside, there's a gigantic black scale dragon with only wings as it is firing lightning. Naruto growls as he walks out of the mansion, Yumi has her arms crossed as she is angry. Naruto walks up to the dragon and the dragon is about to blast Naruto, but he slugs the dragon. But the dragon turns to him and fires a burst of lightning toward him. Naruto just swallows the attack. As the fight goes on, Graphia to think someone as Jiren would lose himself to the feral virus Yumi says I don't care here in the moment. Graphia sighs. Naruto growls as he turns into his dragon form as the two do battle. Naruto grabs his mouth and starts to pull while the dragon wraps its tail around Naruto's neck. Naruto lets go of the mouth and uses his hands to remove the tail and then Naruto bites the dragon's tail, making it roar in pain which Naruto uses that moment to open the dragon's open with him ready to blast it. That is if it wasn't for lightning strikes him. But Naruto turned his scales to that of a lightning dragon, so the blast is strengthening him. And he fires his blast in the dragon's mouth. It causes an explosion in the dragon's mouth, making him roar in pain as it lets go of Naruto's neck and Naruto lets go of it as it falls toward the ground. Naruto smirks and then slugs the dragon again. However, that was a trap as the dragon quickly wraps onto Naruto's, blinding him so that he couldn't do anything as it changes up a lightning breath. But Naruto unleashes his fire dragon roar into the mouth of the beast, burning the beast from the inside as its head is blown off, ending its life as it falls and loses its hold on Naruto. Naruto lands on the ground as the shinobi start to appear due to the sounds of a battle. But seeing that it ended. Just as a voice shouts I'm calling dibs on that body. Everyone turns a teen named Kiba in Yuzuka as he's carrying a small white fur pup in his jacket. But a claw gets on the remains of the corpse of the thunder dragon. Naruto says dragon laws and by right of conquest the body belongs to me. He growls as he's still in his dragon form. Kiba growls, but I call dibs. Naruto then roars in a way and then another dragon appears and this dragon has a scroll on his back and it's massive. As the law of the dragon stands. The victorious owns the body of the defeated and what he or she wishes to do with it is up to them and if any tries to claim that which isn't theirs then they will be killed most brutally with their skin or scales peeled off causing them to bleed out. Naruto smirks upon that and Kiba is sweating as he thinks if it's worth fighting over it. Naruto says if you have the balls to challenge me for it you have that right, but until then you can't do anything. Naruto smirks, showing his sharp teeth. At this time, Yumi comes up and Kiba sees her. "Well hello sexy lady," said Kiba in his suave voice. Yumi just slowly turns to him and just stares at him. Kiba is thinking yes, all their time talking to my mirror is paying off. But then she walks right by him and his world shatters. As she says Naruto-kun. Well, Kiba is in tears. As he hears haha, rejection as it's Lulu and his sister. Naruto transforms back to human form and asks yes my ice angel. She grabs him and drags him toward the mansion as she says we are going to do it. I had enough of waiting. Naruto shouts Graphia take the body and remove the scales and put them somewhere, then bury the body I am going to be busy. Graphia says yes Naruto-sama. As Lulu says lucky, I wanted to mate with Naruto-kun too. Graphia bops her Yumi first. As she walks over to the body as Kiba says forget that guy, not go with he stops as he is frozen solid and Graphia walks by him. Lulu sticks her tongue at him as she goes to help out Graphia. The next day, Naruto walks up to see Yumi with a smile on her face in his bed next to him. He is about to say something but, Naruto-kun. Yumi. Says the voice of Lulu as the door bursts open and behind her is Graphia as she has breakfast for them. Morning. Said Lulu. Graphia moves as Yumi throws something heavy and it hits Lulu making her fall down as Yumi says quiet it down you noisy dragon. Naruto smirks as Graphia says your breakfast while Naruto smells it as he can tell it's a massive amount of bacon and pancakes and eggs. Graphia puts on the bed for them both and then when Graphia leaves grabs Lulu and drags her out of the room. Yumi says sigh that one is too much at times she takes her food while Naruto has the rest of them. Naruto kisses her head yeah true, plus Graphia is working on a potion for you my ice angel. Said Naruto with her nodding. Later, Naruto is by himself as he walks around Konoha. He looks around as he sees everyone doing their thing while hearing a couple of them talking to themselves about how dragons are showing up. As well some children are holding up small-sized dragons to either their mother or father, asking if they could keep them. Naruto smiles then jumps onto a building and looks out on Konoha. As he's sightseeing, he doesn't know that his brother, Menma is glaring at him as he growls in anger. Naruto then sniffs the air and says come out you little half-brother of mine. Menma does so, as there are bandages, a cast for his broken right arm. Naruto says you are supposed to be in the hospital resting, and yet you're stalking me. He looks at him. Menma says well, that's because I can heal fast, Naruto says yeah right. I don't believe I know who holds the Kyuubi and it is not you. Menma growls. Naruto asks are you hungry by any chance? He crosses his arm. Then some shinobi who are Menma supporters appear, hold it right there. Naruto asks, and why should I? As you know what I am he walks up to them and the shinobi bring out kunai. Naruto laughs then swipes it and then to their shock takes a bite out of it and eats the metal as Naruto says I can eat anything, even things that humans can't eat. Why? Cause I am an elemental dragon. Naruto finishes the kunai and the shinobi is shocked then Naruto says so are you up for little brother? Menma growls and snaps his fingers on his good hand and they attack Naruto but Naruto just takes it and they break their hands. Hard. They all fall to the floor screaming in pain. Naruto grabs Menma and drags him along. Naruto then walks in the air shocking many people while Menma says let me go. Naruto then walks to the Hokage tower change of plan said Naruto. When they reach the tower Naruto opens the window and goes into the office with Menma. Meanwhile at the house, Lulu is laying her head on the table as she says Graphia is doing dishes yes Lulu. Lulu says is there anything I can do? Be more specific, said Graphia. I'm bored and Naruto-kun is out and about. Said Lulu. Graphia thinks on it, well, I guess you and I can train for a while, said Graphia. Graphia hears a sigh. Okay. Said Lulu. Lulu you're strong I will give you that, but if you slack off, that will get you killed, Lulu says true. Now that she thinks about it. So they went off training. 5 hours later, Naruto returns after dropping off Menma to his father and he goes looking all over the village. And upon arriving, he finds the house empty. Naruto shrugs then heads over to the library after closing the door. But little did he know, the front door opened up. Naruto is in his library reading a book. After a while of reading, Naruto opens up and the scent of food hits his face as he says oh you're back Graphia what did you make? As the person in question is holding a bowl of soup and placing it on the table that Naruto is at. Naruto then takes a strong sniff and smiles at someone he does not know. Okay who are you as you're not Graphia? As he hears oh that's easy, you're death a voice of a woman. Naruto turns to see a female with blonde hair as she is wearing a maid outfit as she changes into her dragon form and outside as the dragons are building their homes. As then, boom. Naruto is now pissed you come into my home uninvited then the next thing you do is try to kill me, then you destroy my house. As he comes out of his house as he turns into his dragon form which seems to have gotten bigger. While the large green dragon is coming at him as she shouts cause Lord Smog wants your head. Naruto Bahamut Uzumaki. As she and Naruto crash by headbutting each other. Naruto growls in primal rage and then out of nowhere slashes the dragon's face, but she takes it and punches him in the stomach and it doesn't do much, but he gets burnt by fire from the green dragon. Naruto then grabs her face and takes a bite of her neck, making her roar in pain as he breaks the scale's skin as she bleeds, but she does the same to him as she draws out blood from her shoulder. Both push each other away as they fire their breath attacks. Grafia and Alulu had returned after hearing sounds of battle as Grafia saw this. Naruto-sama. Well, Alulu says wait, I know that dragon. Then they hear Damocle's my daughter. Toru, Grafia says your daughter. Why is she like me? Before I was submitted to Narukun, she too is a part of Smug's group of dragons, said Alulu. Granted, we never met, but I do know of her, she's a strong dragon, for she can take on gods and live, though she couldn't take one down, but still, said Alulu. They hear a thud and turn to see Naruto pinning Toru down with one of his claws holding her mouth shut. As both are damaged from their fight. Naruto says submit now or else I will kill you. With flames coming out the side of his mouth. The green dragon, known as Toru, glared at him. She can't even attack, this coming more intense as Naruto changes up his breath as it is a massive ball of fire, but it was cut off when Damocle says that's enough please my lord. She's my daughter. As he hopes that he can stop this. Then all she must do is submit. Said Naruto. Damocles turns to her. Please Toru. Just submit. Said the elder man. Toru growls and says I submit. Both turn back into their human forms as both of their clothes are damaged. Naruto is glaring at her. Grafia fix the house. Then he notices that she is gone with Alulu and says she went ahead Narukun. Naruto says good cause then Yumi will kill us more so with her he points at Toru. Toru just turns her head. Sometime later, Naruto is drinking some rum that Grafia gave him while Toru is chained up in front of him. Naruto sighs as he says since I nearly got my ass kicked, he drinks more I need to train stronger. Grafia says your father would come and kick your ass if you don't keep training. Naruto points at her without looking at her, bingo. Said Naruto. Meanwhile, Blaze slows down a book as his father's senses are tingling and they tell him Naruto isn't doing his training. Blaze puts a bookmark on the page and gets up then heads out of the library and disappears. At Naruto sighs as he places down the rum as he is about to do his training, but he stops as he senses something which is. A giant fireball is heading toward where Naruto is, Naruto dodges it as he says oh come on. We just fix I. Naruto's neck is grabbed and he turns pale as the smoke clears showing Blaze, as Blaze says it's not a full month yet and here you are, slacking off of your training. Naruto is shaking and then someone hits Blaze with a kunai in his back, but considering that he's a phoenix, his aura melted off the kunai. Blaze turns to see who threw it and he sees Ibisu with 10 jonin and Naruto is moving for them to run as Blaze says oh, so I have some annoying shits to deal with before I can discipline my son. Naruto is thrown to the side as Blaze starts walking toward the group and they get ready, then Blaze removes his jacket and when it hits the ground it makes a crater and they are shocked seeing him so ripped with scars, but the most prominent scar is the 5 claw marks over his eye, the ones he got from his father. The Jonins are in shock while Naruto is thinking damn it, dad. Why must you do this? Grafia is looking at Blaze as she knows why he does this is to show the idiots who they are dealing with and give them a chance to flee. Blaze then stops right in front of them and says you get one chance. Run away now and you will not be harmed. But stay and I can't guarantee that you will survive. He looks at them. And all of them run off as they're not going to deal with this. But one of them stays like an idiot and that is Ibisu. Blaze then sighs then punches Ibisu hard in the gut. Naruto is thinking why Ibisu is sent flying into a wall, then another man appears, but he is not here to fight, but to talk as he has a calmer aura and Blaze turns to him. As Ibisu is buried under the rubble of the abandoned house. And Blaze turns his head back toward the man. Blaze is in front of him and asks would you like the same as that idiot? Blaze points to Ibisu whose leg twitches as it is outside of the rubble. Then the man asks may I ask why you would do such a thing? Blaze says the idiot attacked me as I was about to discipline my son for not keeping up his training. The old man sighs as he says I see, just put him down and let's talk about it. Blaze says my son is over there. He points to Naruto and the idiot is buried under rubble. But you I am willing to talk to. Grafia, some tea and a table please. Requests Blaze. Grafia had just come back with a tray with cups and pot that had tea in it. Then a table appears and Blaze makes wooden chairs appear and the two sit in the chair. Naruto says sometimes Grafia, I think you're too good for this and Grafia says I enjoy this Naruto-sama, besides there is another reason that I am your maid. Naruto drinking his tea as he looks as he wonders what she meant as she didn't say anything else. Well Blaze and the old man, who is the third Hokage but now retired. So tell me sir why are you here? Asked Blaze. Well, as late, I've been hearing how the older part of Konoha was getting repopulated with life, so I come and see dragons making homes here. They follow their royalty, said Blaze as he takes a sip. Oh I know, I'm old so I know a thing or two, and I know that your son is a dragon, well half of one. Blaze says yes but think about it the Phoenix King raises the Dragon Prince. A third laughs a bit, I guess so I think he's the son of the late Dragon King, Io. Blaze nods yes he is and I found him in the forest. Naruto get to training. Blaze orders Naruto who jumps out of his seat in fear and gets to training. I get the feeling you had struck the fear of Kami in him when he was young. Said the third. More like the fear of Blaze, said Blaze as he held up his empty teacup for Graphia to fill as she did. After all, he was kinda lazy when he was around 4, so I did any good father and have him start training. The third chuckles at that and says I should have you teach my grandson one thing he needs. Blaze asks what is that? As he goes to take a sip of tea, will cause of the teacher of his, which it's my fault to begin with, he believes that by doing his training, he would become Hokage by beating one, namely me. Blaze swallows his drink and nods Graphia go find his grandson I have a lesson to teach someone. Now tell me who is his teacher. The old third points at the guy who is buried in the rubble. Blaze sighs and gets up and puts the cup down I will be right back. Blaze heads over to the rubble and grabs the man's leg and pulls him out of the rubble and holds him upside down. Oh you and I have some words to exchange little human. Said Blaze. A week later, the kid named Konohamaru falls to the ground covered in sweat as Blaze is sitting on a rock, seeing the two trains Blaze shouts get up kid. I thought you wanted to be the Hokage. This is the way to get there. Next to Blaze is the third Hokage as he is enjoying some sake. Konohamaru shouts you're a monster. Blaze says I have been called worse. There are no shortcuts in life. Your teacher found one and it was to be sent to the You want to be Hokage then keep training Brad. Then he goes to the side that goes triple for you and your girlfriend Naruto. Naruto is fighting Toru as they are sparring with weights on and what's more they've been at this for 3 days now. Then he looks upon Lulu who uses her fire to burn something that can't be burned and meltdown. Graphia is pouring some sake for Blaze as she keeps up with her training as she does not want Blaze to do it. She has her hellish training style. The only one who isn't training is Yumi. Why? Well, she has taken the dragon potion to turn her into a dragon and the change will be painful and brutal. Blaze then makes more obstacles for Konohamaru who shouts are you kidding me? And Blaze shouts quit complaining. As everyone undergoes Blaze's training routine. Naruto is thinking this is what I get I guess as he dodges Toru's punches and kicks as he throws his own. Chapter 3 Naruto falls to the ground panting and sweating as there's a large bump on his head as he says toward his father, you are evil. Konohamaru is on the ground as well as Toru. Blaze cracks his knuckles. Maybe this will teach you to keep up with your training. He gives his son a glare of fatherly disappointment. Yes, father. Said Naruto and Blaze turned to Graphia, you will make sure of it correct. Graphia bows of course Blaze Sama with Naruto thinking damn it then a flash of yellow appears and everyone sees that the fourth Hokage arrived. Blaze holds up his hand and his jacket shoots into his hand and he grabs it then he puts it on his shoulders again. Minato looks around as he says what's going on here. Then he notices Blaze and who are you? Blaze says that is none of your concern to both of your questions. Then Minato notices that Naruto is on the ground and he says wait did you bring him down? How? He's a dragon and no one couldn't bring him down. Silence your tongue mortal, you are standing in the presence of Naruto's adopted father. Blaze Phoenix Kage the king of the phoenixes and Naruto's trainer as well, said Graphia. Blaze sighs as he thinking of course, maids and butlers are trained to do that unless told not to. Minato widens his eyes. You're his father. Minato looks at Blaze, adopted, but yes I raised him since he was a baby. Better than you would have actually. He crosses his arms as he moves his head toward a pole where Menma is hanging wedgie style, then Minato says then my authority as the Hokage, I commanded you to stay in Konoha. So you can keep that dragon in check. Blaze appears in front of Minato and to the shock of others, he slaps Minato sending him flying toward a building that was about to be torn down anyway, making a collapse on him. Graphia comes up to Blaze as she says my lord was that truly necessary? He is the leader of this village. I am the leader of the phoenixes even the toads would not be able to help him as like the dragons we are too powerful. Plus he has no authority over me, said Blaze, Graphia nodding to that. But Naruto knows better as he thinks you mean he's not the boss of you as he narrows his eyes with a sweat drop. Someone with a cane walks over to them. Blaze looks at him as he thinks he just seems like a problem. Blaze turns to him and keeps a neutral face as the man, named Danzo walks up to Blaze. What do you want, Ninjin? Asked Blaze. Danzo says I just wish to talk to you. Blaze says don't try and bullshit me, Ninjin. Now, what do you want? Danzo said simple, you're summoning contact scroll. Blaze just starts laughing like a loon at that confusing many people as Blaze starts laughing. Naruto is thinking oh no as Danzo asks what's so funny Lord Phoenix. Blaze slowly stops laughing why you want the P Phoenix summoning scroll. Good luck with that as it is nowhere you can find it easily as I don't trust many humans not to use us like we are cannon fodder or tools. Then Danzo slams his cane on the floor as he says, but that's what you all summons are. Tools for us humans. To be used until you are no longer useful. Blaze then looks at Danzo with a glint in his eyes, and Blaze then snorts out some smoke making Naruto, Grafia, and Yumi shiver in fear. Because they had seen this happen many times before to know that. Blaze is not pleased. Blaze then says, so you're one of those pathetic humans. The last summoner of the Phoenix clan was a warrior this world has not seen in a long time. Hell, he learned many things from us. But his fellow men did not, that's why, when we have gotten a new one, all he wanted was power. Then the man tried controlling me and he was killed for it. Then I hid the scroll to where humans would not easily enter it at all. Said Blaze. Naruto is thinking, does he have that scroll in his bedroom? No, wait, he had it there so he could move it, as Naruto has seen it at least one time before. It was moved to a temple in an active volcano. Danzo is grinding his teeth as he says listen. He gets grabbed by Blaze as he feels heat coming from the palm. Keep it up and you will be nothing more than ash in the wind. Threatened Blaze as the heat from the palm is getting hotter to the point that there are soft burns and smoke on Danzo's face. Danzo for the first time in his life is scared and he can't find a way out of this. Now you are going to leave and you are not going to find the Phoenix scroll at all, as I will know if someone has found it. He pushed Danzo, well there's a burnt handprint on Danzo's face. Danzo is screaming in pain as there's a burning feeling due to the wind hitting it. Blaze snorts out more smoke and then he sees Kushina coming. Blaze gets his eyes dilated. Blaze then lets loose some fire from his mouth in front of Kushina, making her scream in shock as he says as the tone of his voice is changing, so you're his birth mother. Blaze starts walking as the ground is shaking with each step. Kushina falls onto her butt. Blaze then walks through the flames and he's in his Phoenix form. Next thing everyone knew. Blaze carries Kushina somewhere so they could talk. Naruto says well, there goes daddy. Gets up. Where Blaze and Kushina are. Kushina slams into the ground hard as she groans in pain, which doesn't last long as she sees the massive Phoenix land above her. Kushina is scared, to say the least. Now then. You have some explaining to do, you pathetic excuse for a mother. Shouts Blaze. Kushina still couldn't speak due to the fear that Blaze brings upon him as he says, now start explaining why you abandoned Naruto. His eyes glared into her eyes as she still couldn't say anything. This makes Blaze think that she was too scared to admit that she did that. Blaze returns to his human form, then makes a portal appear. Coming out of it is his wife, Penelope Phoenix Gage. Blaze then grabs Kushina by the shirt as he says to her face to face, what? Too scared or ashamed to admit what you did? Penelope looks angry as Blaze says, is your new life more important than admitting what you did was unforgiven? Kushina starts to cry. This caught Blaze and Penelope off guard as they were expecting a heartless woman who had left their baby alone in the woods. Blaze drops her and looks at Penelope, who is as confused as him as Kushina, founding her voice. Finally as she says, I didn't mean to leave him all alone. I just wanted him to be safe from harm. I was going to get him back or very least hope someone would have kept him safe. Unit I could found him. Blaze says when I picked him up I left a note as well after I left with him. Kushina looks at him, what note? She questions Blaze, thinking about it, don't tell me the wind blows it away or something. Meanwhile at the forest, the same tree where Kushina left Naruto, in the tree was a note from Blaze as it is being used as part of a house by a squirrel as it makes sure it's safe for when winter comes. Back with Blaze and co. Penelope walks up to Blaze and says, dear, I think we made an error in our judgment, as she places her hand on Blaze's arm. It seems so, but convincing Naruto will not be that easy at all, said Blaze. Then their turn to her. Kushina is still crying as Blaze kneels to her and says, I am sorry as I thought you did not want Naruto at all, well, thinking that you didn't truly love Io. I loved him. Shouts Kushina as she tries more, I love him with all my heart. I was destroyed when I found out that he died and I would have ended my life, but it was Naruto that kept me from doing that. He was just a baby and I was going to leave him without a mother. Blaze nods, but it will take time for him to reconnect with you. He believed that you didn't love him. I am willing to work for that relationship. Shouts Kushina with the two nods as Penelope says, you better, he's a stubborn boy. All Uzumakis are stubborn. Shouts Kushina. Penelope smiles, well at last I know now where my little dragon gets it from. Kushina blinks, then she says nickname. Penelope nods. Back with Naruto. Naruto is doing his training along with the others with him, then the three return and many guys blush when they see Penelope, while the third Hokage chuckles as he smokes. Naruto stops. Blaze makes Naruto slide in front of him by bending the earth. Naruto says hi dad. Blaze pats his head and says, you are about to find out the truth about your birth mother. Naruto blinks on that huh? Blaze and Penelope move aside so Kushina can talk to him. Naruto says you. Kushina says, Naruto please hear me out. Naruto growls, but he sees his mother and father looking at him. Blaze says keep it up Naruto and I will chain you down. Naruto groans as he says fine. Come with me inside alone. Kushina follows Naruto inside. While everyone stays outside. Grafia sits down and Blaze says Konohamaru and Toru get back to training, both do so while sweating panicky. Inside the house, Naruto sits at the table with Kushina but realizes that it's best to sit a bit further away as she says, "Look Naruto, I was going to come back for you, I just wanted to protect you from harm. I love you Naruto, you are my son, and I did not want to abandon you." Naruto looks at her and says, "Then why didn't you look for me then if you truly did? Why didn't you?" Kushina's head gets big. "I did, but you were not in our world anymore." Naruto yells back, which turns into a yelling contest. Graphia is hearing this as she is looking to freeze the house, but Blaze stops her as he says no, this needs to happen. Graphia drops her head, then the yelling stops. Then Naruto is sent flying out the window by something and Kushina is thrown out behind him. Everyone is wondering what just happened. They turn to see another person walk out and he is releasing smoke from his mouth. Blaze says, "Okay, we got a dragon." Toru says, "Of course there are dragons. Everyone around here is a dragon." Blaze says as he points up, "Okay you smartus, but this is not a normal dragon at all." Toru looks up and sees a gigantic dragon that could be seen for miles. Naruto asks why is Quetzalcoatl here. The dragon is moving its head as Kushina says, "You know that thing." Blaze says, "Get down here now." As he unleashes some of his aura and the gigantic dragon moves its head down and drives down. Kushina starts to panic, but the dragon starts to transform as it nears the ground. Graphia then bops her on the hand and hands her some clothes as she whines as she says, "Oh, do I have to?" Graphia bops her on the head again, making her whine even more as Naruto is fighting with the male dragon. Later, Naruto is sitting on the dead dragon as Graphia is wrapping bandages around his arm as the dragon was stronger than the ones he had faced. Blaze says, "Now you see why you need to keep training." Naruto nods. Toru is coming outside with a large tray with many foods. With a Lulu bring the drinks. Blaze keeps lecturing Naruto as Blaze is looking out for Naruto more than he knows. Later, with everyone eating, all the girls are seeing Quetzalcoatl or Lucoa being very close to Naruto with her on him as she is trying to feed him. Then Lucoa gets bopped again by Graphia as she says, "Leave him be." But Graphia whines Lucoa as Naruto is eating his good as he thinks, "Lucoa, you know Graphia is next to join as my mate, or is she trying to cut in line?" Luca is now waving her arms like mad as Graphia has her in a headlock and is pushing her knuckles into Lucoa's skull. The Lulu comes up to Naruto and she says, "So who are you mating with next?" Naruto turns to her and says, "You're smarter than you look, Lulu, so how do you guess?" The Lulu points to Graphia tying up Lucoa. "Well, you've been looking at Graphia for a while." Now Naruto says, "I see, I guess it was very obvious then." Lulu says, "Well, that and Yumi told me as she eats a big piece of meat." Naruto chuckles as he says this to her, "You need to be patient." Well, Lulu says, "I can wait, just don't make me wait too long." Naruto pokes her nose like a button and she giggles as she eats more. Naruto then sees Graphia with a tied up Lucoa as she says, "There, you won't be teasing Naruto same for a while." And Lucoa whines as she tries to escape the bindings. Naruto shakes his head as he eats his food. Blaze then walks by with Penelope as Minato is finally able to get out of the rubble and charges at Blaze, but Blaze, without looking, flicks his fingers and he freezes Minato in place, well, rather, freezes Minato's time. Blaze then walks up and pulls out a cigar and lights it, then blows smoke into Minato's face. "Listen well, Ninjin, don't ever try any stupid shit like that ever again," said Blaze as he moves his finger and he makes the frozen Minato flowing in the air and he makes him launch toward the sky. Then Blaze stomps on the ground and moves his arm to him and Danzo comes to him and Blaze then bends the water from the air, making it hit Danzo and freeze him. "And you Cyclops. If I find out that you tried to subjugate my son, I will come and destroy you until there is nothing left," said Blaze with the man Cyclops is frozen as well. Blaze then blows out some smoke as Danzo's head is not frozen. Kushina feels very out of place. As she sat next to Penelope. Penelope pats Kushina's head, then Blaze stomps on the ground, sending Danzo flying as well. Then both of them talk while everything is happening. "Are you okay?" Penelope asked. "Not, I should be the one threatening people to leave Naruto alone," Kushina said. Penelope giggles as she says, "Well, leave that to Blaze as he is scarier than you think when he is truly pissed, it feels like the earth itself is against you." Kushina says, "I see, I feel like I'm forgetting something," while there's a faint voice calling out to her for help. Blaze goes over and asks, "Are we sure this isn't a pinata?" As Kushina and Penelope not noticing this is further away. The dragons that live nearby as one of them says, "So do we just hit it or?" Then kids have sticks and start hitting Menma, making him scream in pain and other things. Blaze is laughing as Menma is cursing all of them. Couple days later, Blaze and Penelope are heading home after reminding Naruto to stick to the training, as will others, while Lulu is looking out the window as she sees a sign is being placed at the entrance, as it is Dragon District as she says, "I am surprised that Blaze was able to do this for us." As she remembers him buying a sign for the place. Blaze also put up protections to keep the dragons safe and was able to expand the district, though the people of Konoha wouldn't mind helping out to do that. Blaze knows that some people will try to control the dragons, but not all of them. Lulu says alright, I guess I should do this training thing. She does what she can, while Naruto finishes up as he heads to take a shower. Or a bath, whatever he's in the mood for. Naruto heads into the shower. Upon arriving there, Naruto finds that it's being used by someone who is no other than Grafia. Grafia says, I know you're there Naruto-sama, how about you come in and join your maid? Naruto says, well, I wasn't going to back away anyway. Naruto removes his clothes and joins Grafia in the shower. As Grafia is getting some soap ready for Naruto, she smiles as Naruto enters as Naruto asks, so is my sexy maid going to wash me before we just get dirty again? Grafia HMS as she drops the soap as she says, oops, oh silly me. I drop it as she bends over. Naruto smacks her ass, making her gasp as he is behind her and is rubbing her side and thighs as he says, I can't take it anymore. Then Grafia gets in front of him as she says, me too. I hold off Naruto-sama for long enough. Please just take me. Naruto starts kissing her while he squeezes her ass as he has her against the wall as the two kiss each other. It's no secret that both Naruto and Grafia have intense affection for each other, but Grafia had to wait a long time for him to claim her, and time is now. Nearly a week later, Naruto is training with Yumi as Yumi says as she training on her taijutsu, you look a bit drained. Naruto says, I had a long rump with Grafia, so yeah, I look drained maybe for a good bit. Yumi giggles as she thinking, well, no sex for me a while. Naruto gets back to training as he doesn't have another unexpected visit with his father and beats him up for not doing any training. But a ghost appears behind him with a look of neutrality which Naruto sweats as bit as he thinking, oh great, the ghost of dad is here haunting me. The ghost smirks, Naruto sweats as he keeps up his training as the ghost vanishes. A bit later, after training, Naruto decides to look around the neighborhood to see how it's coming along. Naruto is walking around. He sees houses are finished up, as well some dragons are talking, as well some little dragons who can't fly around, yet are running around while playing games. And there are still houses being built. Naruto smiles as the once empty massive district is slowly filling up with life. As more and more dragons are showing up and making homes. And Naruto then sees a few humans are helping out as they're helping a family of dragons to pick out the perfect spot for them, as well as some opening stands. Naruto smiles happily that his people found a place to call home, then Naruto notices a group of 3 human children moving around. Naruto approaches them, but they do not notice him as they're trying to sneak around. He is near them and listening to what they are saying, alright, remember the mission guys. Said the one with a long scarf. Naruto then asks, oh what is that mission? They don't know they have been caught and they explain the mission. It's simple, we found the head dragon and took one of his scales, then we can make super cool ninja weapons. And how do you plan to do that? To find the prince is not easy even to fight him. Said Naruto as the kids are still clueless, we're not planning on fighting, and I think he's more like a king than a prince, though Naruto thinking, well ain't that flattering as the lone girls say, I hear he's this supermassive dragon that could breathe out lava. And summons lightning by flipping one wing alone. As the other boy said, well I heard he can spit out the deadly poison. And the poison would melt anything. Naruto thought, okay, I'm an elemental dragon. I don't have poison and toxins, thank you very much. He stops and thinks on it, wait, can I? I mean, never try to summon any before, but if you're not planning on fighting him, then how do you expect to get one of his scales? As the leader boy says, easy. Find him while he's napping and take it. I hope you remember that, Yuden. Then the one named Yuden says, but that wasn't me asking, I thought it was Mogi. He looks at the only girl in their group. Wait, if it wasn't you or me then, said the girl named Mogi as she and the other two slowly turn around to see Naruto who is standing there as he rubbing his chin as he says, well, it is a good plan, but you have found his treasure hoard though, and it could be anywhere in his mansion, and even that is hard to find. All the kids shout in surprise as the leader says, who are you? As Naruto says, well first off, calm down, there's no need for shouting, and 2, I'm the dragon you're looking for, Mr. King Dragon himself. He points at himself. The 3 are panicking as their plans are told to their target, oh give it a rest, will you? I'm not going hurt you 3, I was curious what 3 little kids doing here, sneaking around like they're on a mission. The leader, named Konohamaru Sarutobi, says that's what a ninja does. We risk our missions for the greater good, plus it's very cool. As he does a heroic pose. A sloppy one but still one. Naruto has his hand on his chin as he says, aha, you failed at one thing to be a ninja, and I know I learned from my father the monster as you called him, kid. He points to Konohamaru. Konohamaru shivers in fear as the other 2 wonders what he meant by that. Naruto smirks. Naruto knows why Konohamaru is shivering in fear. Then at Naruto's house, Grafia is doing her duties, then she hears a scream, no don't call him again, I won't be able to survive his training again with Toru, says H, he makes my dad look like a saint as she looks down with shadow covering her face. Grafia says, well he has been around for a long time, so he had a lot of time to work on teaching others. Different people need different training methods. As she wipes down a window as Alulu says he can't be that bad. Right. The last 3 students he had before Naruto-sama. By the end of the training all 3 students were cursing his name in the most creative ways you can think of, said Graphia, while Lululu is eating some snakes as she says maybe they weren't trying hard enough. Then they hear Naruto arriving back home. Oh no, they were. It is just dad is a taskmaster sadistic bastard when it comes to training, and don't think that next time he visits he will be nice on you Lulu, Naruto said, but it is not true as he knows his father will show her hell. Then she notices a group of 3 kids behind him as they are tied up as well, so what's with them? Asks Lulu. Naruto says they wanted to catch me napping in dragon form to take one of my scales to make some weapons. But Lulu says oh these things are annoying. More so when they cut through your scales, it takes forever to heal with Toru nodding to that. Girls remember I am the prince, and dragon scales need a powerful blade to cut them as it is not easy at all. Possible yes easy hell no. And when I sleep I am submerged in gold and I am in metal dragon form. So good luck finding me. He lets go of the kids and walks off somewhere. The kids try to follow him, but their feet are frozen to the ground as it was by Yumi who is drinking some tea. Oh no, you 3 give him a head start. As all 3 of them say you're me nice lady. Yumi then puts her cup down and then her eyes turn icy. What did you call me? Asks Yumi, who is not happy about the name with one of them shaking in fear I sell lady. The next thing the 3 kids know is they are flying away from the house screaming. Graphia looks at this then to Yumi. I think that was uncalled for Yumi-sama, as Yumi says no one calls me ice lady. Graphia sighs fair enough as she resumes cleaning. Yumi goes back to her tea. Sometime later, Konohamaru and his team are back as they want that scale as they're being sneaky. Or so they think. They are caught again by no other than Toru as she says you kids need to give up you're not getting one of Naruto's scales. All 3 of them say we are not going to give up cause you say so big titty sis. Toru bops them all on the head and says his treasure hoard is hidden and guarded as all 3 have bumps on their head. The team grumbles besides you pull one of his scales he will be pissed. Because it hurts. Said Toru with them never thought about OOW we didn't know said Mogi. Of course, humans sometimes don't think of the consequences of their actions as it will hurt Naruto and it will take time for the scales to grow back, leaving a weak spot in the dragon's armor, said Toru as she knows this as she saw it happen before. So then we shouldn't be doing that. Asks Konohamaru as he realizes that he is doing something bad, big time. You are going to give Naruto a weak spot and his enemies will take advantage if you do it, said Toru. Then she hears Toru what are you doing? Said the voice of Naruto who is behind her. Telling these kids the truth about pulling a dragon's scale. It hurts. Said Toru. Naruto looks at her as he says, I happen to be shedding my old scales as I'm growing bigger after all, as he has a deadpan face on him. Toru says I understand that but to pull off your new scales hurts. Plus we are not letting any humans take those scales of yours, Naruto says I understand that as my scales are too powerful. I know there is a reason dad does not give his feathers to humans, but these humans have this thing called rent, I believe it's called. Toru deadpans at him as she stares at Naruto closely as she says are you pulling my tail? Naruto smirks and says maybe Toru just can't find the words to say. Naruto pats her on the making her pout as she says I hate you sometimes Naruto then walks by and grabs her tail dragging her away as Graphia appeared, then says now follow me, I'm sure your families are worried about you 3. Graphia leads the pouting kids home while Naruto is taking Toru somewhere. Toru is grumbling as Naruto says oh cheer up Toru. No, said Toru as she is still upset. Naruto then stops dragging and wraps his arm on her hip and holds her very close, which makes her blush. Naruto then lightly blows into her ear, Toru blushing more while trying not to moan upon that. Then Naruto disappears, making Toru growl as she thinks I'm turned on and he left me hanging. As she was blushing badly. That damn tease. As she shouts. Somewhere in the house, Naruto smirks as he thinks now to play the teasing game. Naruto heads to his vault to shed his scales as well rest up for a while. Time skip a couple of days later. Naruto is walking around the village as he meets the ramen shop owner and the daughter Am wants to learn how to cook more food, so Graphia was called in as she is a master chief when it comes to food, she knows how to make so much hell she and Blaze taught Naruto. Naruto is talking with the owner as he says so I heard stories that you had the best ramen around he chuckles and asks, where did you hear that? Naruto says well I couldn't help but overhear some of the humans that were building horses the stories about your shop and it's the best ramen while he's sitting on the bar stool. The owner nods and gets him a bowl as he says see it for yourself he smiles. Naruto breaks the chopsticks apart and starts eating them. Naruto's eyes widen and Naruto then finishes the bowl. Everything I knew is a lie. Naruto then drops some gold for payment and the shop owner is shocked by this. This way too much. I don't think I have enough change for this said the owner. To expand if you wish and if you want to move to the Dragon District where you can open a bigger restaurant. Said Naruto. The owner says this is a lot to think about. You would be welcomed in Graphia. I think she will be happy to teach your daughter more, said Naruto. The owner nodded to that. With that, Naruto left. Naruto then sees a catman. And a woman with a big fan, humans have the oddest taste of things, said Naruto in his mind. Naruto walks over and sees the Catman is about to hit Konohamaru, but then Naruto grabs his head and starts to squeeze his head, making him scream. I don't know what's going on, but picking on the young is something I won't stand for, so let him go or else lose your arm for good, said Naruto with his draconic eyes on full display. The woman turns to see Naruto holding her brother by his head. She couldn't help but think he's a dragon, then takes another look, a real hot dragon at that. Konohamaru is let go and he goes running away, and Naruto drops the catboy who is complaining about the pain as Naruto looks at Konohamaru as he yells a bit, "Are you alright, kid?" As Konohamaru runs. Naruto sighs and then asks, "Okay, hot stuff, who are you, and who is the gay man wearing your makeup? Also, who is the girl next to you?" Both turn to see the girl that Naruto is talking about. The gay man shouts, "Sierra." Sierra has short red hair with blue eyes. She is a bit shorter than the other two, but she has a knockout of a figure. Sierra has a size of double I. Naruto says, well, this is interesting. Sierra is hiding behind her sister, shocking her and her brother. Naruto raises a brow at this as he says, I know I'm a dragon, but I didn't expect someone hiding from me. Sierra is blushing, and Naruto says, I still need names, please. The girl with the sandy blonde, I'm Tamari, you had met my brother Kankuro, and this is Sierra. She's being shy. She isn't sure on that part. Naruto then asks what number tail is she holding. Both look at him as if they are thinking how. Sierra doesn't say anything as she just holds up one finger. Let me guess, he is yelling at you to kill me as my father did. Kick their asses. Sierra doesn't answer. Naruto sighs, well, I have things to do also. If I find out any of you attack the Dragon District, you will not like the results. He looks at her as he thinking millimeters, she has this care combined of cute yet sexy. Naruto takes to the sky, leaving them be with Sierra, and says he's so cool. Tamari nods in agreement as Kankuro says, I think he's an ass, he squeezed my head, I swear that he cracked my skull. Sierra has her sand around Kankuro and says, call him that again, I will feed you to mother. But he slowly backs away, then he is frozen in a block of ice. Both girls are surprised by this as they turn to see Yumi, who happened to be walking by. Yumi is glaring at the block as she says, let that be a lesson to you. She then pushes the block and it is sliding away. Tamari is shocked while Sierra says millimeters, guess he lives another day as she sees him sliding at a high rate of speed. Or maybe not, said Tamari. Then she is behind them both and says, let me guess, your eyes caught onto my mate. Which is a bit jumpy as Tamari says, just who are you? My name is Yumi. I am the alpha mate of Naruto Uzumaki, the Dragon Prince. Who is also the one you are in a marriage contract with. Said Yumi as she said to Tamari and Sierra. Tamari blinks, then says, wait, I think you have it confused, I'm engaged to Menma Uzumaki. Naruto Uzumaki is the oldest son of Kushina Uzumaki and the head of the Uzumaki clan. Plus Menma lost both of his marriage contracts to Naruto as he challenged him to be the heir, and Naruto is the head of the family, explained Yumi. Tamari blinks as she is very lost as she didn't know Kushina had another son, let another the true firstborn and older brother of Menma. Naruto is the son of Io the Dragon King and Kushina Uzumaki. Said Yumi as the three walk to where Kushina is, and then Menma appears and is about to say something to Tamari, but is frozen. Kushina, you have some explaining to do for Tamari. Said Yumi as she pushes Menma to the side, with Kushina says, oh right, forgive me Tamari, so let me explain. Meanwhile with Naruto is at the Inuyasha clan compound to spend time with Hana. Maybe you can shed some light, I noticed a group of people from other places gathering here, said Naruto. Hana blinks, then it hits her, oh, I guess it would make sense with you, since you just moved here and don't have much knowledge about ninja things, said Hana as she explains that what's going on is that the Chunin exams are starting and Konoha is hosting it this year. I see. That is interesting, do you know who will be showing up to the exams? Asked Naruto. Hana says, well no, since they always change around, sure there are some familiar faces, but most of the time it's new ones, plus I wasn't asked to take the role of anything as it's a jounin job and I'm a Chunin. Naruto nods, aren't you worried that you might be invaded? Asked Naruto. There are rules for their things, like other visiting ninjas are not allowed to attack each other during the exams. Naruto says, but think about it, exams are the perfect time to attack. Hana giggles as she says, oh, you and your dragon brain, say if it does happen, there have to be the utmost insane and dumbest people to do that, cause why take away the opportunity to show what the genins could do. All their hard to reach that far will be waste away. Naruto sighs, I just have a gut feeling that something will happen and I listen to my gut. Hana says, well you have to bring it up to the Hokage, but he won't listen just cause your gut says so. Then he is an idiot if he does not at least look into this shit. If something happens I am just going to say one thing to him and that is I told you so. Said Naruto. Hana says, are you sure that you're not the dramatic dragon? Graphia, who had been led there, stopped when he said, he has a gut feeling. Naruto-sama, are you 100% sure about this feeling? Asks Graphia as both turn to her. Naruto says yes. It never steered me wrong yet. Graphia nods, I will let the Hokage know and if I have to I will freeze his ass until he listens. Naruto nods. Hana sighs as she thinking very sure they're just blowing this out of proportion. What she does not know is that Naruto's gut is right about this, but right now they are getting back to knowing each other more. At the Hokage's office, Minato is what most would say worse for wear. Given his whole body is covered in bandages. As he is trying to get his paperwork done, but 2 working fingers could do so much. The doors open as Grafia walks in. Minato groans in displeasure as he says, "What now? Is it about the damn moles? I told you that there's nothing I could do about them." "Not that, but Naruto-sama is getting a gut feeling and I ran into the sound team and they had a smell I don't like at all," said Grafia. Minato just looks at her as he says, "What kind of smell are we talking about?" Grafia is a bit surprised to hear this as she thought that he would laugh. "They smell like snakes. I know Anko and I asked if she knew these people and she said no. There is one other person that smells like snake. The traitor Orochimaru," said Grafia. Minato blinks as he says, "How did you?" Grafia, "I read books, Mr. Hokage." Minato slightly nods. "Well, the sound team are heavy suspicious, not sure if they are connected to Orochimaru, but if you want to look into them, go ahead, but if you are wrong, you are to pull back from this and stay out of ninja affairs, so more during the exam." Grafia says, "I know what I am doing," as when Naruto-sama says he gets a gut feeling, "You listen." Minato looks at her as he asks, "Is it because he's a dragon?" "It's because he's a prince of dragons," and the answer is yes. "Our senses are stronger than humans. That gut feeling has saved him many times," said Grafia as Minato says, "If you say so, now go, I have work to start." He realized he didn't finish anything all day. Grafia heads out and goes to find out info. Minato says, "I should just head home, but there is a problem, he can't move that well," so he sighs. With Kushina had Temari sit down as she explained what happened in the last 2 months. Since Naruto appeared. "So I am no longer engaged to Menma?" asked Temari. Kushina nodded to that, "And Menma is no longer the next head of the Uzumaki clan?" Kushina nods again. Temari lets out a sigh. "Oh, thank Kami. To be honest with you, Kushina, I never liked him at all. He was hot-headed, arrogant, entitled, and very power-hungry. Plus he would not survive my sister a month into the marriage." Kushina blinks on that. "What makes you think that?" Kushina asks. "Not think, more like hearing it from her." She points at Sierra, who is drinking some shakes. Sierra looks at Menma like she is trying to figure out how to kill him even now. Kushina's sweat drops. As she sees sand floating above a frozen Menma. Yumi then makes the ice appear around the sand, which Sierra glares toward Yumi for that. Yumi's eyes turn to cold dragonic ice. Blue sparks appear between them both. Temari says, "I never seen anything could hold against Sierra." They both look like they are ready to brawl. With Kushina says, "If you two are going to fight, do it outside or the dojo. Because the living room is no place to fight." They aren't listening, and Temari asks, "Is she a dragon?" Kushina says, "For all I know she could be, so you saw my son Naruto." Then Temari says, "My Kami, he's so handsome. Like he's beyond handsome. How did you give birth to that?" Kushina says, "If you think Naruto is handsome, you should have seen his father." She starts blushing with a dreamy look on her. "Oh, that dragon was so dreamy when I first met him in his human form." Temari asks, "Wait, how did that happen anyway? Cause weren't you married to the Hokage?" Kushina says, "Oh, don't I have a story to tell you, but you don't tell it to Naruto. I want to tell him that myself." Kushina then whispers to Temari, "Besides, I was not married at the time or dating. After Naruto was born, then I married Minato as he thought that he was the father, so that is why he married me really, but I did love him at one point." As she begins her story. The following day at Naruto's place, Temari and Hana are being shown where Naruto is as the exams start in 2 days, as Temari says, "Wow, this mansion is massive." Grafia then leads them to a hallway and flares her aura, and the traps deactivate as they are seeing a very strong vault door at the end of the hallway. Both say together, "Where are we going?" Grafia unlocks the door with her aura, and as it opens they are seeing the Uzumaki treasure hoard as they widen as they see. Grafia then says, "Naruto-sama, Lady Hana and Yuzaku, and Lady Temari are here to see you." Temari and Hana are confused, then to their shock, some treasure starts to move as something big is coming from under it as they see the massive dragon coming out of the golden coins. The treasure is falling off him like a waterfall, and both Hana and Temari scream and hide behind Grafia. Then the dragon gets smaller as it glows in white light. Then Naruto is standing there. Both girls blush and pass out as Grafia is blushing as well. "Naruto-sama, your clothes." Naruto blinks, then he looks down. "Oh right, I forget he gets clothes on." Naruto needs to find the clothes his father gave him as they will return when he transforms back to human form. "Well now I have to wait for them to wake up," said Naruto as he crossed his arms. Grafia helps move them to the living room after closes the vault door and activates the traps and security. Naruto in the meantime is going to check on Toru. She then tries to jump Naruto, but he dodges her as he says, "You gotta do better on that." Toru roars in rage, then Luko appears and Toru slams into her as she is in between them both. "Luko, oh? Toru." Toru falls to the floor as she says, "Hold still, Naruto." Naruto is not there anymore and Toru growls loudly with Luko says honestly, you two should just mate and get it over with. The Lulu says like you don't want to fuck him Luko. Luko says I've been trying. He just won't let me. Luko pouts and the reason is Naruto wants to get stronger first before claiming the former goddess. Toru however is blushing up a storm. The Lulu says anyway I'm going to take a bath at that forest place. Luko says forest. Yumi appeared in the room and heard what Lulu said. Yumi says the forest of death. You do know we have a shower here. Yeah, but nothing beats nature's bath which is a waterfall, said Lulu. Yumi sighs from what I heard they might not have one in the forest. Plus remember the Chunin exams are in Konoha. Lulu looks at Yumi and says the what exam? As she looks at Yumi. Yumi blinks then asks do you even bother to go outside? Lulu says yes I do. I was playing with the children. Yumi pokes Lulu's cheek and says you need to know this as we live in this village Lulu whines. Then a paper hits Yumi's head, which turns out to be a note as it says it doesn't start until a week as it is signed by Naruto. Does not matter but she needs to learn about the villages said Yumi, then she notices that Lulu is gone, so is Luko and Toru. Yumi sighs as she says am I the only sensible dragon here? Who is asking? Said Graphia as she just entered the room while holding a tray of food. Yumi is in the corner with a cloud over her head while in the other room, Tamari and Hana start to wake up. Graphia asks millimeters I wonder what's with her. As she goes on her way as she brings them food. They get up and Tamari says I had the strangest dream. Hana asks, is it about a massive dragon coming out of a pile of treasure? Tamari says yes now how did you know? Then both hear well that's because it did happen and not dream both turn to see Graphia as she holds a tray of food for them. They are shocked. What you saw was Naruto-sama in dragon form and his treasure of the Uzumaki family, says Graphia as she walks up to them. Both are shocked by this. As Graphia places the tray and says eat, as you two were out for a bit now then Graphia says don't worry we don't eat humans if we did then this village would not be here at all. Both know that only feral dragons do that. That is why they are hunted as they don't want it to have the humans try to kill all dragons. Graphia says anyway, Naruto is out of millimeters I would say an errand, but. Meanwhile somewhere within the forest of death Naruto leads the others behind him as he says are you sure there's a lake around here Lulu? Lulu nods as she is carried by him is she on Naruto's back yes I was there not that long ago. Naruto sighs I don't know why you dragged me out here as my two fiancés are visiting. Well Lulu says so you can bring me here since you know where it is. As she has her large against the back of Naruto's head. Naruto sighs as he is standing at his full height as she is holding onto his neck. Well, I guess you make a good point there, said Naruto as he never thought, and who knows it, by this place they were looking for could look romantic. Though they are still in a deadly forest yet so far, it's rather peaceful. Well Toru says I don't know why the humans called this forest, the forest of death and anything here could kill us, yet nothing happens with Luko is patting a cub of a tiger. Naruto just sighs, soon enough, they arrive at the spot, and Naruto has to say for Lulu the spot looks amazing. Naruto nods well girls I got to get back home. He said. Naruto gets hit by their clothes as each of them is wearing swimwear, which was something Naruto told them to do in case there's someone here. Naruto sighs as their clothes fall as he thinks well, at least they're having fun Naruto, then teleports home as he was informed by the Graphia, both Tamari and Hana are up and Yumi is at the corner for some reason. Naruto then walks over and pokes Yumi's shoulder as Naruto says are you okay? No, I feel like I am the only sensible dragon here. Said Yumi, Naruto says in what way? Lulu does not learn about the human village, all she does is play with the kids. Said Yumi, Naruto listening to her whines, Naruto hugs her close as he says you're just trying too hard Yumi, you should just relax and let things run their course. Alright. Yumi says fine. Naruto nods and helps her up, then they head over to Tamari and Hana, they talk the whole day. A week later, on day 1 of the exams, as the second part had started and right now, a team from Konoha are going through the forest. Menma is grumbling as what his team does not know is they are being followed by two people as one of his teammates Sakura says say Menma have you heard of what's going on around the forest lately? I don't pay attention, said Menma, and Sakura says well there've been rumors that there's something in this forest that causing the dangerous animals to do nothing at all. Menma groans great the dragons are in the damn forest as well. The other teammate says dragons. Well, that would make sense, given how much their numbers have been growing, and their district is coming along very well Menma stops and shouts, you're saying you don't mind those overgrown lizards being here? Sakura shrugs not really. Sasuke shares the same sentiment as Menma, cause they're not doing any bad said Sakura, well Sasuke is having second thoughts as it is a good point. Not to you. But it's no thanks to that fucker, I lost everything. Sakura says do you think you were ready to be the clan head with how you acted? If the stories I heard about Naruto's adopted father are true, he must have bashed edict into his head. Menma growls and Sasuke adds, and given that he's much stronger than you and older, plus it's by the law of the clans, the most firstborns to be the new heir, unless the current head is killed and taken over by the killer, as he crosses his arms. As Sasuke's older brother killed his clan, Sasuke is still not the heir, he knows this and hates it as people call him the clan heir, but they are wrong, that is Itachi. Menma growls more angrily, so what are you saying? I just gave up and accepted that I wasn't truly good enough to be the next head of the Uzumaki clan. Sasuke asks, do you have a choice? Sakura says, well, given that your half-brother is half-dragon and said to be the son of the late Dragon King. Menma screams in rage. I hate that guy. I hate Naruto. Shouted Menma. Then, you ring? Asks Naruto as the three turn to see Naruto kneeling on a tree branch and Grafia being next to him. Menma says you. Naruto jumps, then walks up to him and says, I happen to be nearby and I heard you call out my name, is everything alright, little brother? He checks on Menma's person to see if he's hurt or not. Menma is about to yell, then Grafia says, Naruto-sama. I have a scent of a snake nearby. Naruto has his eye on her and says, alright, as for you, just go on with your human exam thingy and best of luck. He pats Menma on the head, then he heads out. Once Naruto and Grafia are gone, Sasuke says, well, for someone who given you a massive beating he is kind to you. Menma grounds his teeth and says, shut the fuck up, Sasuke. He goes on ahead of them as both look at each other with Sakura. I wonder what they meant by snake. Are there snakes in this place? She looks around her. Sasuke shrugs, I don't know at all. Mom never mentioned them at all, and so, both catch up with Menma. With Naruto and Grafia, Naruto slams his fist into the ground, making the ground come up. Come out, you snake. As he looks around with Grafia says, I would listen to Naruto-sama. Then from above them, a shadowy figure lunged toward Naruto as a set of fangs sink onto Naruto's shoulder, but the fangs break on contact and Naruto says, dragon scales, idiot. Naruto then grabs the neck and does not let him go as Naruto looks at the person who has pale white skin with long black with golden eyes as Naruto confused as he says, is Orochimaru a man or woman? Grafia says his file said he was a man. She is confused as well as Orochimaru chuckles and says, in stand wonder what I am, you should be worried about a few dozen snakes out of Naruto's clothes and they try to bite onto him, but they break their teeth like Orochimaru did, and Naruto says, as I told you, dragon scales. As he wonders if this person in question is dumb. Orochimaru is confused, you're not a dragon. Naruto then shows his scales, his fangs and talons as he turns into his hybrid form. So I am not a dragon. And Orochimaru widens his eyes upon this. Then he feels the air get colder as Grafia goes into her hybrid form as well. Soon enough, as in the above view, a flock of birds flies away due to a sound that no one could hear. A moment later, Naruto and Grafia return to normal as Grafia spits out blood as she says, gross. Naruto says, I agree, but at least we have proof for the Hokage to have the village on high alert and even recall some ninjas. As he holds Orochimaru's arm. Before we go, I should say this, there's something not right about how he tastes. Naruto-sama, said Grafia as she still has the taste on her tongue. We need answers of why, said Naruto as he gets his wings out and takes to the sky with Grafia following him. Meanwhile at the Dragon District, Toru is talking with some of the dragons as they sense something is not right. Is that so? Said Toru. They nod and Toru does not like it. Get me Naruto's bodyguards. Orders Toru. The dragons look at each other and say, Lord Naruto has bodyguards. Since when? Toru sighs as she says, right, you guys are new here and haven't seen. Now I think about it, where are they? Then she sees Naruto in the air as he is heading toward the Hokage's place, then she also sees movement in the shadows. There they are, said Toru. She starts running and easily catches up and gets one of them, which is the leader Chifusa. Chifusa says, oh Lady Toru, how may I be of service? You're aware something is going on at these exams, right? Asked Toru, and Chifusa said yes, as Lord Naruto and Lady Grafia just stopped Orochimaru. Toru, he did. What if Naruto was raised by Dragon Phoenix? Thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.